This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Warnicky and I'm sitting here as always with Matt Stewart. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Dave.
But someone's missing today. But don't worry, she's been replaced by the fabulous Batch Bitch herself. And I say that in context because she's from the Batch Bitch podcast.
Yeah.
A returning guest, three-peat. Please give it up for Naomi Higgins. Yeah.
Yo. Here I am.
Welcome back, completing your triptych.
Great to have you here.
Thank you. I was going to do a whole bit about how I'm actually Jess Perkins, but
Oh,
Did I
I'm
ruin
going
that?
to ruin that straight out the top.
dude.
But that's okay because I've taken improv classes, so I can just roll with it.
Oh, great. You can roll with being yourself.
Yes.
Good stuff.
And I'm happy to be here.
Let's see your best Jess, all right? Okay. Now I'm just gonna say something to you
Okay.
like you're Jess.
Okay.
Okay, let's see just play out the scene.
At this
What level improv are you up to?
Oh, great.
Level 2. I did up to 2, so we should be
to-
able to do this together.
What, just for
Okay.
scale, how hard does it go? All the way to the top?
I think 78 levels. Is that
Yeah.
right?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's probably level 3.
What? You're
But
up to
it
level
wasn't
3.
in levels.
I'll try and
they just
keep
had
up.
different. Okay.
I'll try
All
and
right.
keep up with you.
Okay.
I don't know if it's standardized anyway. All right, here we go.
It's absolutely not.
Hey Jess, what have you been up to?
Been to the beach.
Classic.
That is good. Yes.
She loves the beach.
Insane.
She's always in the
Thank
water.
you.
She is.
you.
She's a real
Water
water
baby.
baby. Yeah.
Now, we probably should explain Jess's absence. So
She's
she
dead.
was rock and rolling,
Rock and roll.
as she would say, quote unquote, at the
It's a funny name for drugs.
well, she was at the music festival Splendor in the Grass on the weekend.
Let's try with Childish Gambino and the Hilltop Hoods, I believe, who were a late replacement for Chance the Rapper.
Brutal.
There you go. And Jess is also there performing some comedy up there. I imagine she had a great time, but sadly, she has come down with a hardcore
She has
case
come down.
of Chance the Rapper. No, she's come down with the flu.
Yeah.
Is it festival flu?
Dave, why were you doing inverted commas when you said the flu there? Seems a bit disrespectful.
I did not do inverted commas.
Well, I only just remembered that she was at Splendor, so I don't believe she has the flu. I think she just has a huge hangover.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, I like to take her at her word.
I trust her.
Oh, you're an idiot.
I'm sure she'll be listening back to this. So, hi, Bob. We are sad that she could not
Hey,
make
Bob.
it here, but she did send a message through Matt to
I
read
did.
out
I said-
to the listeners.
I said, message her just before we started recording. I said, any words you want us to share on the show? And she said, you know what word I want you to say. And then an emoji of a peeled banana. So I don't know. What word does she want me to say?
I feel like you probably know better than I
It's
would.
definitely banana. It's her go-to
Oh.
word.
Is it?
You tell her, think of a word, and she always thinks of banana.
She's always
Oh,
thinking
that's
of
funny.
bananas. But
Yeah, well,
unfortunately,
she hasn't had any improv classes.
that's true.
Yeah, she's only at grade 1.
And maybe that's why she's sick, because she's been saying banana and not eating enough and getting that potassium.
Amen.
That is true. So get well soon, Jess. But thank you so much for coming back, Naomi. Appreciate you having you
Hey,
here.
People
Jess's
want
loss
to.
is my gain.
People want you here all the time.
Really?
This is a Patreon bonus episode, but you landslide won best guest or most favorite guest or something, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right. So at the end of
yeah,
At the annual Do Go On Awards, aka the Golden Shinies.
the Golden Shiny Garys,
The Golden Shiny Garys.
we did where we got the Patreon people to vote for their favourite guest, and you were a landslide victory. A real slap in the
you.
face to Nick Mason, who appeared on multiple episodes.
I did.
And also, if you added his votes up from the multiple episodes, I still beat him.
Absolutely.
So that
is
felt
true.
good, I have to say.
It was a lot closer when you added up his multiple. We were
But
probably
I still won.
Damn right.
in a landslide.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people's champion. Anyway,
you
we
so
should we
much.
start the show?
Well, before we get into that, we've got to quickly shout out to some great cities that we are coming to over the next few months.
Oklahoma.
Ooh.
Sadly,
Is that a state?
that is just
Damn it.
Oklahoma City.
Indiana.
No, we are coming to Brisbane in 2 weekends' time, August the 11th, the Sunday afternoon
There's a
Ooh,
Brisbane in
la la.
Oklahoma.
at the zoo. Yeah, there's a zoo there. No, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. We're coming there.
Whoa.
I'd love
I've
to tell
been there.
you, I have no idea how many tickets we've sold because the ticket report somehow is not working. I assume that there's like 4 left. So if you're one of the 4 people that want those tickets, get in quickly. It is only 2 weeks away. We're coming to Sydney, which we announced last week, on September the 21st, a big Saturday night show at the Giant Dwarf Theatre. Fantastic. We had the best time there last year, so we're hoping to back that up again this year. And coming over to Perth for the first ever time, also announced last week. And a lot of people bought tickets to that. So thank you very much for the people that did that. Not a huge venue, which is the Comedy Lounge, and that is November the 3rd. So ages to go.
It's
so
going to be real fun.
please come.
Show. In the Wild Wild West.
And if anyone wants tickets to those, just go to dogoonpod.com. How about that? I put them on the website.
Oh, you have
You
a
put them up
website.
there. Oh, you made them accessible to people.
I did that.
That's smart.
I did that.
You are the brains. There's a couple of shows I wouldn't mind quickly plugging if that's okay. David, I'm doing a comedy show with Jess Perkins this week.
Who's that?
Next week. She's sort of like she's who you used to be. She's your
Right.
past.
Oh,
She's just somebody
great.
You're the
used
future.
to know. Come on.
Yeah, I feel like the future.
On August the 1st, it's called the Amazing Travelling Comedy Tour, and it's on at the Knox Community Arts Centre in Bayswater.
Well,
Do we have any Bayswater listeners,
We
Dave?
do. And you know what else Bayswater has? A Dairy Bell ice creamery. Not many of those left. I suggest you go and get a
Celebratory thick
Thick
shake
shake.
after the show.
Yeah, Dairy Bell. Great spot.
So me and Jess are doing it, and it's there's a few others, including headliner Dave Callan. So that should be a real fun show.
The Dancing Man.
The Dancing Man himself. And Jess and I are also doing our show Razzle Dazzle in Brisbane just after the live Brisbane show on August the 12th, 13th and 15th, or 12th, 14th and 15th. I forget which one we have the day off on, but one of those. Anyway, there's 3 shows. Definitely one on the 12th, definitely one on the 15th, possibly one on the 13th, possibly one on the 14th.
Couldn't be clearer.
Can you tell that I didn't book that show? I didn't put that on the website.
Are they 2 different shows?
The one in Bayswater is called Amazing Travelling Comedy Tour.
Right.
So that's like a stand-up night where you get to see, 5 or 6 comedians,
I'm
including
hosting
you,
it with,
Jess,
yeah.
and Dave Cal.
Okay.
And Sonia Diorio. And maybe someone else. Wait for it.
Naomi
My
and
God.
I are just waiting for our invite to the gig.
Who is...
Yeah,
Will it be
we'd
us?
love to come.
Will it be us?
You both quit comedy. What do you want? You want me to drag you out of retirement?
Okay, stand-up isn't
Stand-up
the only form
comedy.
of comedy. How
Sorry.
dare you?
Sorry, you're still...
Do I need to talk about my 3 levels of improv again?
Thank you.
Sorry, you're right. When you're right, you're right. I apologise for that.
That's okay.
Big time. I really do.
Elitists.
Thank you.
Elitists in this town.
I still have a yellow belt in comedy blog writing.
Right.
So, thanks.
You can find out details for all that at mattstewartcomedy.com. It's Nick Kappa. He's the other one. mattstewartcomedy.com/gigs.
Wow.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. All right, we're going to crack on with the show this week. And if you haven't heard the show before, what we do here is take it in turns to report on a topic. It is my turn this week to report on a topic suggested by a listener. And Matt and Naomi, you guys have no idea what I'm about to talk about.
No.
None.
Hey, Naomi, we're the Sass twins.
Are we?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing Jess and Matt do when I'm reporting.
Oh,
We're
okay.
very sassy
Great.
when Dave's
Sass the
reporting.
shit out of me.
I think.
Great,
is
that's
that what
my
it is?
default mode.
Basically, it's like I'm a teacher and you're bullies.
Oh, good. I'm already a bully, so this will be easy.
Hey, Mr. Warnicky, your face is dumb. As an example.
Thank you. May I have
And I'm
another?
going to kill your family.
Sassy.
Oh, relatable.
Should I pull it back?
All right,
That's
so,
about Jess's level, I think.
Okay, good.
so as this is coming out tomorrow, over the last week or so, space has been back in the news.
Oh, yeah.
Big time, big time.
Oh.
50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing, which I did a report on way back in the first 10 episodes of this show.
Is that
Was
what
that
you
the
mean?
first 10? Yeah.
Is that what you meant by back in the news?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh. I thought you were going to talk about the Area 51 thing.
Oh, no, I'm talking more about the moon landing 50th anniversary.
Okay.
Dave,
Different.
he works in memes. That's his day job, is telling Peter Halley what funny videos and
Do
memes
not
are.
work in memes.
That's funny because not 10 minutes ago I tried to explain some memes to you and some
I do not work in
people.
memes. I work in news, but you would be better at working in memes. Let me just tell you that.
But I don't understand your job, I think, Dave.
Well, one day I'll explain it to you.
Are you a memer?
I'm not a memer.
Okay.
In fact, I kind of despise memes. But here we go.
All right. Well, that's a really vague thing to despise, but
Are they
continue.
comedy? Are they? Also, I don't really like GIFs.
I mean, they're
Never send a GIF.
communications
like
for
GIFs.
vehicles.
No.
You don't like GIFs.
Don't like
No.
GIFs. short
You know what I
videos.
hate? MP3s.
No, when people post them and they go, "How original am I?" GIF, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
You hate reaction gifs.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
No one is saying,
No time.
how original am I? They're saying, I couldn't think of anything original.
Exactly. That's
That's
what
why
I'm saying.
I love using them.
You know what? I also hate JPEGs.
Oh,
MP3s
the
and
worst.
JPEGs.
Oh my
they
god!
Kill
for God's
me.
sake, just use PNG for God's sake.
I'm not so arrogant to think that I could reply in a way that Will Ferrell's face couldn't. Like, who do you think you are if you think you can reply better than Daffy Duck shitting himself or something like that?
Well, I can.
Love that
I cannot.
gif.
I cannot think of any gifs.
I mean, that was-
a dog looking funny.
There's-
Michael Jackson eating popcorn.
Oh,
That one
yeah.
that people always post under.
Yeah.
It's like, just leave the internet, please.
Yeah, there's one, it's an image of like a sausage dog and it's like shaking its head, but it was clearly literally a picture and they've just animated it so it looks like the dog's shaking its head and it's really upsetting. That's maybe the worst
Are
one.
you on my side now?
Reaction gifts for sure. They make me want to die in a hole.
Thank you so much. That's what I meant. I didn't mean.
I don't
gifs
hate
overall.
the
the concept of a gift.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just a
I love the
a
concept.
style of file, right?
Love
Yes,
the file.
it
It's a file
is.
style.
It
Love
is
the
a file
file.
type.
If you invented the GIF, I apologize.
Dave, I'm
Well, you
finding
should
your
apologize
last
because
tweet.
he pronounces it GIF.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
he is wrong.
He
oh,
is
he's,
wrong
he's,
on that.
he's back on the bed.
He probably also says meme for meme.
Are you finding my last tweet? Was it a GIF?
No, it says it's. I'm just going to reply to it with a GIF.
Great. That'll rile me up in about 2 hours when I get home.
All right. First GIF that comes up, I'm replying with,
Everyone send
and
me.
it is Will Ferrell. He's a great GIFer as Ron Burgundy. Anyway, we should start the show.
And what's he doing in the GIF?
He's nodding.
The caption says, agreed.
It
All
doesn't
right.
really
Good one.
make sense to your tweet, but I just want to pee you right off.
Thank you. Well, I'm right up here. But the space was back in the news, and I've done a couple of space reports. This is completing my triptych of space reports. I've done the Challenger space disaster and Apollo the 11. But Apollo the Creed. My question for you, as we always ask to get onto topic, is who was the first person in space?
Me.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Is that true?
Lock it in.
No.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
First person in space.
that's right. So I've talked about NASA and their American space missions.
Do
a few
you
times.
agree with Peter that animals should have personhood?
What?
Is that something Peter Jones?
No, people for ethical treatment of
Oh.
animals.
Well, I certainly don't believe in all their crackpot theories. They are a little bit militant for my liking.
Because if you
Yeah.
do,
They kind of just let every other cause go by the wayside.
Yeah.
for the
Because,
sake
but
of
if
the
I do,
animals.
what would you say?
I'd say that rat or whatever the first thing was up there. An ant? Was it an ant
We're
farm?
talking people.
Fruit flies, I believe, are the first
Fruit
animal they sent up
flies.
there.
Yeah, right. Because there's been a few
space fashion.
great chimps.
Yep.
But I think it was nearly always cruel to the animals to do that to them.
Nearly.
Do you reckon? Putting them in a tiny isolated thing that would be very confusing and shooting them up out of a rocket?
Nearly always.
There was a couple of times where they had a great fun time. They thought they were fetching a stick.
Do you have any answers to?
person.
It is a person.
Um,
Not an
like-
astronaut, but a cosmonaut.
Yeah, it's like
Vladimir
Sergey.
Schnauz.
Here we go. This is turning
Sergey.
south pretty quick.
Sergey.
Vladimir Sergey.
It's not Vladimir nor Sergey.
Oh,
Bob. John.
I reckon I know this because I saw it. There was a cartoon that I saw once, and it was named after an old cosmonaut. What's
John,
it? Give me
John
a letter.
Hogben.
First name, I'll just give you the first name, Yuri.
Yeah, Yuri's what I was thinking.
Last
Yuri
name,
the Spaceman was a cartoon I saw once.
Last name,
Slav.
Sermonov.
Gagarin. Well done.
Gagarin.
Yuri
Got
Gagarin.
it. We did it.
Oh,
first-
is that Lady Gaga's dad?
Yeah.
She came to America. She dropped the Brigan. Garrig.
She just dropped
Yeah,
dropped the
she's
rin.
80.
She dropped the rin.
The rin.
She dropped the rin. I'm gonna drop the rin
You're
right
going to be
there.
stuck here, but I know about this rin. I know about this rin. This was suggested by Michael Gledson via Facebook. This is in the old hat from years ago.
Wow.
Before we
the
automated
pre-hat.
Before we made it Jack the Hat McVitie. So thank you, Michael. Hopefully you're still listening about 3.5 years later. We finally did it.
So hopefully you're still listening after this long and tedious introduction before we get to the report.
I know. I'm so sorry. So, do you guys know anything about Yuri Gagarin, first man in space? First person in space?
He was Russian?
Well, both.
Or maybe he wasn't Russian. He was from, back then it would have been the Soviet Union, I suppose.
That's right. He was part of the Soviet Union, but he was born in modern-day Russia.
Oh, so I was on the right track with all my Russian names.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was born in modern-day Russia. That means he's a time traveler as well. Born in modern-day Russia, flew back to the Soviet Union.
Yeah, you don't know what happened.
Then
Wow.
shot up into space.
No, he went up in space and that was sent him back in time.
Oh,
Come on.
It was Earth all along.
I
Damn
loved
you.
Interstellar.
Okay, let me take you back to the late 1950s, the height of the Cold War between the United States and the USSR.
Great. And you should give context for exactly what happened there, probably on the broader sense, just for listeners who don't know what it is. Obviously, I know
All right,
a
so
lot about it.
the USSR, which is the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Obviously, yeah.
Which, if you ever want to go to a quiz night, you should remember that because that comes up sometimes.
Does it? Union
Of
the
Soviet Socialist Republics.
Right.
That's what
Sick.
which is modern day Russia and a bunch of other Eastern Bloc countries. And post World War II, they went into the Cold War. There actually wasn't any actual fighting between the United States and the USSR, but they were bitter enemies.
Is that why it was called cold? Because there was no fighting?
Yeah,
No
so
hot
it's like one of
stuff?
those long drawn out over decades, capitalist US versus the communist USSR. And importantly, in this
So no violence.
no, but the threat of nuclear war just hanging over each country for many decades.
Right. So emotional violence.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of propaganda and hate.
Okay.
And importantly, this was also the height of the space race. In late July of 1957, the US announced that they intended to launch satellites into orbit, and 4 days later, the Soviet Union announced that they too would launch satellites in the near future. So it was a real tit-for-tat type thing. Someone would make an announcement, they'd say, we're doing that too.
But they called them cosmonauts.
That's true. Just over...
Matt?
So that was 1955, rather. Just over 2 years later, on October the 4th, 1957, the Soviets won the first battle of the space race when they launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite. All up, it orbited Earth for 3 weeks before its batteries died.
Was that on?
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, was that the plan?
Pretty good. And then it just stayed up there for another 2 months orbiting before it fell back to Earth.
Oh no, did it hurt anyone?
No one died.
That's good.
But at the time, you wouldn't
Did it
have
hit
known
the
because
sea?
the USSR were very, very secretive about stuff like that.
But was it the kind of so it just landed randomly, or did they have some sort of a?
No, so after the
system to get it
batteries
back
died,
there?
they couldn't communicate with it anymore.
Right.
They just sort of tracked it as it went round and round and round. But it was a real victory for the Union, and it freaked out the United States and other countries in the Western world who were worried they were falling drastically behind their Cold War enemies. The launch had caught them off guard and had been a complete surprise. 31 days after the Soviets launched this one, they then successfully launched Sputnik 2, another satellite, and this time a dog named Laika was on board.
Oh,
Sputnik 2, Return of the Ooze, Secret of the Ooze. Damn it!
Sputnik 2, Judgment Day. And your one, Naomi, is Sputnik 2, Back in
Back
the
in the habit.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
No. Filling in for old Jess. So Laika was the first dog in space. Originally known as Kudrayevka, she was later named Laika, which translates roughly as barker in Russian, as she barked over the radio when they introduced her to the world.
Oh yeah, Laika, the space dog. That's quite a famous one.
Just crying for help, hey?
She was a stray dog, a mixture between a husky and a Spitz, and became the first animal to orbit the Earth.
So you've told me that the threat of nuclear blast hung over a lot of people. And I was like, okay, that's bad. And now you've told me there was a stray dog put in a little
Famously
satellite
pack animals, dogs.
that barked, and I
Famously.
feel very, very upset.
You're upset. Well, my next sentence is, sadly, it was never planned for her to survive, and she died of heat exhaustion.
Heat exhaustion?
I'm sorry.
I call it a Cold War. You know what I mean?
Feels like this Cold War's really heating up.
Oh, no.
That laugh's in poor taste, Naomi.
Yeah, it is, and I'm sorry.
Oh, that sucks. But, sometimes you gotta laugh or you'll cry.
Amen. Comedy is tragedy plus time,
Yeah, this is
plus
over-
a dead
This is
dog.
like 60 years.
That's the full equation?
Yeah. That's what you've been missing.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. The fact that they didn't even, like, they wouldn't get away with that anymore, you know?
Peter.
Yeah, am I right? You know, these PC police stopping you exploding dogs in space.
Well, she didn't explode.
Well,
She just got very hot.
They couldn't have promised that she wouldn't, though. They would have had no idea.
Will she explode? No comment. Okay, that's a weird answer. So the Soviets were leading the way both in animal cruelty and in space. And in response, the US were desperate to get their own satellite off the ground as part of their project, Project Vanguard.
Okay.
The first real attempt was...
They really wanted to sound cool.
I know, they went for the cool title. The first attempt was Vanguard TV3 2 months after the launch of Sputnik. It was televised and US citizens watched on with hope as it failed spectacularly, rising only 4 feet off the launch pad before falling back onto the launch and exploding.
Oh, no.
See, that could have been the dog.
And you can watch it on YouTube and it is a huge explosion. And the idea of school children watching that being like, yeah, we're going to take it to the Soviets. And it literally 4 feet, a whole rocket. Like you can jump higher than this rocket got. And then it explodes.
I love the confidence it's like someone televising their first stand-up spot. Yeah, it's going to be great. Are you sure you don't want to run this through a few times before you put it out there to everyone? Nah.
And they come out.
I think I'm going to kill.
Hey, how we doing? Jump 4 feet off the ground and explode. So it was a spectacular failure, and it appeared in newspapers under the names Flopnik, Stay Putnik, Kaputnik, and Dudnik.
Oh,
Some great journalism
they
there.
really went to town. Is this American newspapers?
It's American newspapers, yeah. Saying that we're falling behind. On January 31st, 1958, the US finally had success and put their own satellite into orbit. It was called the Explorer 1.
I've heard of that.
It's not as cool, is it?
Well, got the bloody job done.
Yeah, got it up there. And later that year...
Got it up there. Mate, you're such an Aussie bloke.
Get it into you. What, the satellite?
Get a dog up here.
Get a dog. Not too far up, we'll die of heat exhaustion. All right.
What is that saying about? Before we started, we said another saying that was...
Don't say we.
All right, I said another saying that was confusing, only once you looked at me weird. But what does get a dog up you mean?
I don't know if I've ever heard that one
If
either.
you have to ask.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah, get a dog up, yeah.
What does that mean?
Does that mean like get
Does that
going?
mean get going, yeah.
Get a dog up, yeah.
What does it mean, have a beer? Most confusing, baffling sayings mean have a beer. Get a dog up here.
You can get out of most situations in Australia by just cracking a beer and the other person going, all right, you're okay. All right, cheers.
And then the theme song for VB starts.
Yeah.
There's always like, I think this is probably not just Australia, but people will often say, talking about a politician, if they're worthy, they'll say, I wouldn't mind having a beer with them, or I wouldn't have a beer with them. So I won't vote for them because I wouldn't have a beer with them.
Mm.
Is it necessarily the best thing that, you know, your prime minister is a guy you'd have a beer with?
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
To a lot of people, yes.
It's a weird thing.
Sure, you'd have a beer with Doug at the pub, but would you trust him to run a multi-trillion-dollar economy? I mean, he's a good bloke at
Yeah,
the pub.
have you seen him go a scooter?
But
One go, mate.
I mean, think about how big that spreadsheet is. Doug can't handle
All
that.
right, two very different definitions for get a dog up here. Top 2 Google results. First one says, common way of saying go fuck yourself. Also can be used as a friendly term of endearment. It has many meanings. And so depending on the way it is said, could mean almost anything.
Australiana is beautiful.
Well, back to space. The United States then founded the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, a.k.a. NASA. That's another one for your quiz team.
Say that again, NASA?
NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Remember that for your pub quiz points. That's what this episode's about. So with the Americans catching up, the Soviets continued their space program in secret and were the first to land an unmanned spacecraft on the moon. But what both nations were really...
USSR were.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Land or crash?
Yeah, a lot of the time it did crash.
Yeah.
They crash-landed a dog on the moon and it died. No, that's not true.
It's believable, though.
It's very believable. But what both nations were really striving for was to be the first to put a man into space and bring him back safely.
Oh, thank goodness.
Was there a reason back then for this? You know, people sort of talk about it now. It's like, if we really do fuck Earth bad, we might have to go and find another planet. What was the reason back then?
It's the final frontier. you
Yeah,
idiot.
and also I think that they were worried about, like, if they're the first to get weapons up there,
Right.
they'll be able to control planet Earth,
So
which
it wasn't
obviously
just
never
legacy
happens.
stuff. Right, yeah, having...
And also it is a bit of a flexing of the muscles to be like, oh, you think your capitalism's so great, United States? Well, look what we did in our communist society.
Right.
We're better than you.
Yeah.
So it's a real tit for tat.
We
Look at
killed
both
a
of
dog.
us spending our people's money frivolously. And then, like, we're doing it real fast on explosions, basically.
Yeah, but we go under the guise of everyone being equal when no one is actually equal. Hashtag
Unlike
communism.
capitalism,
Yeah.
where everyone is equal.
That's right. Well, at least we're honest about how unequal people are.
I don't think that's true. Everyone gets a fair go.
Hey, Matt, if you give a go,
You'll get a go. No, I'd forgotten that. You'd have a beer with him, wouldn't you?
That is a quote from our current Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, a.k.a. ScoMo. Yes, we call our Prime Minister ScoMo.
If you have a go, what is you have a go, you'll
if you
get
have
a
a
go.
go, you'll get a go.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most meaningful thing he said. The other
Meant a
thing
lot
he
to
likes
me.
doing is just saying how good things are.
He's got like a catchphrase now.
How good is
I think he knows people find it
How
funny.
good is education? How good is money?
That's something that we do at the project is make fun of him for that, and now he buys into it.
Yeah, he's right in, I think.
It's amazing how many things you don't have to take an actual stance on if you just say how good
How
is
good
it.
is it? He's
You're
been
not
positive.
even saying it's good, technically.
Really? To be
You're
honest,
asking a question.
That is the real life version of sending a GIF. I've got nothing to say. Here's Will Ferrell.
Exactly. ScoMo is
Dave.
the reaction gif of this country.
Through the episode, I'm going to slowly work through all your old tweets and reply with it with a different Will Ferrell.
I enjoy that. I'll look forward to that. So anyway, we're back to space. Everyone wants to get someone to space. So the Soviets secretly started recruiting men for what was considered a very dangerous mission. They had no idea what would happen if they sent a spaceman up there.
Well, why didn't they want to send a woman to her death?
Well, because they sent a female dog up there and she didn't survive. Huh? Answer that.
She ruined it for everyone, really.
Absolutely.
Making us look bad.
Sergei Korolev, regarded by many as the father of practical astronautics and I love that, what a title, and the chief designer of the Soviet space program, decided that the cosmonauts must be male, between 25 and 30 years old, no taller than 175 centimeters tall, and weigh no more than 72 kilograms, which means, boom, I am
You're in.
prime cosmonaut candidate.
Congratulations.
I tick all those boxes.
Now all you have to do is be in the USSR in
Over 50 years ago.
over 50 years ago.
You're not even in modern day Russia, let alone olden day.
I know, olden day Russia. He also decided they had to be intelligent, comfortable in high-stress situations,
Uh-oh.
and physically fit. So I am definitely out. Easy come, easy go, right?
Which of those three would you give yourself a cross on?
You're
You're a pretty intelligent man.
Maybe I could get, but they would probably want some hardcore mathematics stuff.
Not
I don't
quiz.
know.
Hey, I do real good on trivia quizzes.
I'd be like, I know it stands for the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and they're like, so does everyone here. It's our country. Damn it. How good is the USSR? Am I comfortable in high-stress situations? Being blasted into space? Absolutely not. Am I physically fit? Fit enough to be blasted into space? Absolutely not.
As fit as a stray dog. Actually, that's not true. You're not as fit as
No way.
There's no way you're
Never
as fit
survive
as a
out
stray
They
dog.
work hard.
Yeah.
So, sadly, I wasn't, but 200 men were shortlisted after an interview process.
I'm so sorry that you didn't
Overlooked.
make it.
They did not like my cover letter. Too much
Too much glitter.
glitter. I was also thinking I put glitter in there. Imagine that. A hardened Soviet general opening.
It's everywhere.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Look at this. It's a nightmare.
So 200 men were shortlisted, not actually being told that they might go to space, and then put through vigorous physical and mental tests.
I really thought...
Like in that episode of The Simpsons.
It actually is like that. When Homer and Barney are chosen as civilians to go into space, it is exactly like that.
Was that genuine excitement?
Yeah,
For
I
me.
love that. I can't stand no more when they're doing
Spinning.
Yeah, it becomes
the G-force test.
Popeye. Is
Yeah.
that what happens?
That is what happens. Yeah.
He also is that the one where Barney he goes sober and then has a non-alcoholic beer?
Yeah, non-alcoholic wine, yeah.
But that was enough for him.
Yeah.
Placebo effect, I guess.
Brutal.
So 200 men were shortlisted, and one of those 20 would later grow up to be the main subject of our report, Yuri Gagarin.
Oh.
First man in space. So let me
Sir
take you back
Gagar.
to the young life of Mr. Gagarin. Born in 1934 in the small village of Klushino, 200 kilometers from Moscow, and near a town that was later renamed after him. That's when you know you've made it.
Wow.
To space and back.
Yeah, correct. That's the rule. Everyone who's been to space has a town named after them. His parents, Alexei and Anna, worked on a collective farm, and being the third of 4 children, he was mostly raised by his sister while his parents worked. And like many of his day, his family suffered under Nazi occupation during World War II. They were forced from their home and had to live in a tiny mud hut on their farm throughout the occupation.
What?
So that's right.
A mud hut?
They had a mud hut on their farm.
Why?
No, they had to build it.
Oh.
Oh.
So they were kicked out of their actual farmhouse.
Wow.
Why were they kicked out of their house?
Because the Nazis didn't like the Russians.
Where'd they get all the mud from?
Oh.
The farm.
Whoa, was it a mud farm?
It's a mud farm, yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
they
farming mud?
They make mud.
Yeah, they were farming mud huts.
It's a mud in a mud.
They had to sleep in their display hut.
Wow.
People came round. As you can see, it's got 2 bedrooms. There's a
Oh, it's got a fancy mud hut.
Yeah,
It's like a Californian mud bungalow.
there's a rumpus
Unfortunately,
room.
all the TVs are fake.
Ugh.
Yeah, sorry about that. The fireplace also fake.
There's mud in there. Those flames made of mud.
The mud
Where's
flames.
your improv level 3? You should be coming. You should be jumping on with this.
I'm sorry.
We should be taking off here with
For
some
some
mud
reason.
prov.
Yeah, I usually love mud prov. I don't know what's got into me today.
Mud prov. That's good stuff. As a yellow belt in comedy blog writing, I'm impressed right now.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
why don't you write it up?
40% of podcasting is mushing 2 words together, as if it
I'm
was,
trying to
as
find
if
a
you'd
word.
said something funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, on
Which
this
is the
podcast, yeah.
podcasting equivalent of sending a GIF.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not creative. But here's a joke.
You really hate reaction gifs.
I just like doubling down on things.
They're so harmless. I think you're actually just annoyed by the popcorn Michael Jackson picture. I don't even think it is a GIF, is it?
It's a gif.
Okay.
Do you know what a GIF is? Matt doesn't know what a pun
It's a
is.
moving picture. Okay?
Like in Harry Potter.
Yeah. I think about it, I was like, it feels like that's a big part of J.K. Rowling's genius, was that she was like, okay, now, this is going to be a whole magical world. Come with me on this journey. Imagine paintings on the wall. Only they move. Okay? You with me so far?
Never been creative
Now picture a
before.
statue. Normally, stationary. Am I right?
Yeah.
Well, not in this fancy world.
What?
They'll move around a bit.
No.
We're going to have a horse and cart, right? Only it flies. And the horses are dragons. I'm a genius. And then they give her money. Well, I know she's I think she's been recently cancelled, but before then, a real darling of the internet.
Yeah.
Has she been cancelled?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, who hasn't? You know? Are you
That's
anything
true.
if you haven't been
It's
cancelled?
easier to list the people who haven't been cancelled at this point.
Yeah,
Am I
exactly.
right?
I think it's just me, to be honest.
You're the last person standing. I nearly said woman. Oh, my God. And
Well,
I'm-
I am a woman. That's fine.
Yeah, but am I allowed to say that? Cancelled.
Yes, now you're
No, I'm
I'm
cancelled.
out.
Only because you question yourself.
I know.
Yeah.
You must never
Have
question.
a little bit more
Rule
belief.
number 1. Rule number 1 of cancel culture, never question.
Just know the answers.
Just no. Oh, but how will we ever get better at things if people just yell at you all the time? Well, the answer is we won't.
And the
Anyway.
answer is you're cancelled.
Oh, cancel.
It's not about you. It's about the people who are nearby in fear, who won't make the same mistake. You're an example, and you're cancelled.
Well, there you go.
Did we just take down cancel culture?
Did we?
I think we did.
Did we solve it?
I mean, I refuse to take down cancel culture because I don't want to get cancelled. But
Yeah, no, that was all joking with you, cancel culture, if anyone asks.
Right?
Laughing with you. We're all in this together. I cancel people too.
really,
Oh.
Yeah, just
Like
give me
who?
a person, I'll cancel them.
I'm trying to think of someone good, but all the people who come into mind are actually cancelled.
Yeah, I can't read.
Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama, both cancelled.
Yeah, see, that's changed. Pre-cancel culture, they were seen as being real good people.
Yeah.
Just for merely helping millions of unfortunate people.
Yeah, I don't know if Mother Teresa was that good.
I have no idea,
Yeah.
really. I've never met her.
I had to look it up.
Oh, good. Well, Dave, can you edit out all of that?
No, I'm just sitting here eating popcorn a la Michael Jackson, watching you two continue this
Who
conversation.
is cancelled?
He is.
Thank goodness.
And
Because
you know
that
the
gif-
manufacturer of that popcorn?
Cancelled?
Yeah.
Well,
Child labour laws.
that GIF has
flaunted.
stopped lately, and I appreciate that.
Anyway, I think
Cancelled the GIF.
whoever first did that popcorn gif, that's funny. It's just the problem is the millions of people who jumped on after.
Yeah.
It's similar to cancel culture. The first person who cancels someone, great.
That's funny.
It's the stacks on.
I love a digital stacks on, to be honest.
Do you
As
really?
much as I shouldn't.
Okay.
Sometimes it's funny. Never do it to me.
Someone tell me to do go on here.
Do go on.
Thank you. As a teenager, Gagarin. Also, if you are Russian or anywhere that part of the world, I'm so sorry. I'm going to say some terrible pronunciations.
It's like
throughout
it
this
sounds
episode.
like an onomatopoeic bird sound.
Gagarin.
Gagarin!
Gagarin.
Gagarin!
Well, after he graduated from the Mud Hut, he witnessed a Russian Yak fighter plane make an emergency landing near his home, an experience that could really scar you. But no, instead it inspired him. In early 1946, at the age of 13, the Gagarin family moved to Gatsk, which is a bigger city, and he's joined his school's aviation club.
What did he see that inspired him?
A Russian Yak fighter plane make an emergency landing near his house.
And he was inspired to make emergency landings?
Yeah, I think he was just like, that looks cool.
Next time I'm flying, I'm going to make that pilot make an emergency landing. I'm feeling inspired. I don't know. It's just something. Walking with an extra pep in my step.
And finally, he landed a plane in the Hudson River.
Gary Sullenberg. Rest his soul.
What a guy.
Hopefully, because it's night time
Is
in
he
America
alive?
right now. He's sleeping.
Oh.
And his body.
Oh,
Rest
no.
his body and his soul.
He died.
Anyway, he joined his school's aviation club. He began working on the docks for extra money to buy presents for his family. What a great guy. And then at the age of 16, he began an apprenticeship as a foundryman at a steel plant near Moscow. He was selected for further training at a technical school where some sources say he studied tractors.
Some sources.
There you go.
How many sources, Dave?
2.
Okay,
That's
That's
it's more than
That's
one.
some.
that's some sources. But yet not enough that made you commit to it.
Hearsay. I
It
would
just
say
sort of made me laugh that the first man in space studied tractors.
So some
Objection, Your
sources
Honour.
say.
Beyond the scope. I've been watching a lot of The Good Fight lately, so I think there's like 5 big objections. Objection. Asked and answered. That's my favourite.
So that's like, we already went through this.
Yeah, she's answered that question, Your Honour.
What, are
What
the
about
other 4?
objection, you're out of order? And
I-
then, no, you're out of order.
No, that's not The Good Fight. That's The Two Good Men or whatever. No, The Few Good Men.
Is it out of order? Is that one of the main ones?
I don't think, no, it's, no, that's a judge thing. So this is one, it's the opposing counsel. Objection, so beyond the scope, asked and answered. Oh, man.
Hearsay?
Hearsay? Yeah, that sounds like one.
Or like speculation?
Yeah, what is that one?
That's like when the witness says something that is just them
What
speculating.
about
and
leading
not
the
a fact.
witness?
Yeah, but I think they say, they're testifying, Your Honour. Like if the lawyer's doing the testifying in their question. It's like, are you getting to a question soon? Objection, testifying.
Right, because you're questioning them. You're not
Yeah.
giving a statement.
Otherwise, get the witnesses out of there.
So what has this got to do with tractors?
I can't remember.
What do tractors have to do with space?
I don't know. I just wanted to mention that the first man in space once studied tractors. I mean, there's hope for us all.
I object.
What was this guy's name again? John Deere?
Yuri Gagarin.
Russian for John Deere.
While studying tractors, allegedly, from 2 sources, he joined the local aero club and learned to fly light aircraft, and it became a passion. And after finishing his technical training, he joined a military flying school. Whilst a cadet in flight school, Gagarin met Valentina Goracheva at the May Day celebrations at the Red Square in Moscow. She was a medical technician, and they were married on the 7th of November 1957, the same day he graduated from flight school, and they later had 2 daughters.
Oh my gosh. So they got married the day he graduated.
Yeah,
It's a big day.
What an event.
After graduating, he became a lieutenant in the Soviet Air Force. It was at this time that the Soviets started recruiting people for the space mission, and Gagarin was shortlisted. So we're back where I left off before. Did a little flashback there. Don't know if anyone noticed that. Storytelling. Yellow, belt, comedy blogger. Thank you. He underwent...
What is this comedy blog?
It's a secret. He underwent a number of tests at the cosmonaut training center, being exposed... This is the bit from The Simpsons. This is the stuff he was being exposed to low pressures, oxygen starvation tests. They lock you in a room and then take
Just
out...
cover your mouth.
Yeah, they take the oxygen. Yeah. Now try and breathe. You can't. And also high G training or centrifuge training, which is basically the Popeye thing before that spins really fast and exposes you
The
to...
gravitron.
Yeah, yes. Oh, the gravitron. Did you guys go on the gravitron?
No.
The
Never
thing
been.
it was always at the amusement parks
It's
in the
featured
90s.
quite a bit in the new Stranger Things.
Really? And
Stranger Things 3.
you really didn't want to vomit in there because everything stuck to the wall in there.
Yeah,
My
right
God.
back at you, right? It didn't- yeah.
Horrific.
You wanted to go on someone else.
Yeah, like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
They also trained extremely hard at this point. Alexei Leonov, who would later become the first person to complete a spacewalk, described their training at the time as if they were training for the Olympics. They also had to learn and practice
Has he ever trained for the Olympics?
Yeah, what a slap in the face. What a slap in the face. Well, they also had to learn and practice parachuting. So it was all happening. It was a big time in Gagarin's life.
Parachuting?
This is like 2 weeks
All
ago.
right.
It's longer than that, but it's like a few months ago studying tractors. Now he's being spun around real quick at the gravitron.
And
classic
practicing
trajectory.
parachuting. You know, you go to a drop zone for like 2 days and then you can like jump out of a plane on your own. It
It's
really doesn't take that long.
I said they did over 50 jumps.
Really?
That seems like a bit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
50
My
more than
mum's
I've ever
done
done.
200.
Really?
300?
Does she jump solo?
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't anymore, but yeah.
Wow.
My stepdad did like 1,000, I think.
So
That's a lot of jumps.
A lot of jumps.
Do they have a real need for that rush?
Oh, I guess they had a need for speed. I guess you could say that. Yeah, mum's hardcore. Anyway, let's talk about these fucking 50 jump
yeah, 50 jump nobodies.
idiots.
I accidentally called him a 50 chump.
I was gonna
meant
say,
to-
50 jump chumps.
It became clear that Gagarin's personality was also suitable for that of a cosmonaut. A doctor who evaluated him described him as such. Quote, modest, embarrasses when his humour gets a little too racy. High degree
Oh, God.
High degree of intellectual development evident. Fantastic memory. Distinguishes himself from his colleague by his sharp and far-ranging sense of attention to his surroundings. A well-developed imagination, quick reactions. And also went on to write, does not feel constrained when he has to defend his point of view if he considers himself right. Appears that he understands his life better than a lot of his friends. Cop that, everyone else.
Yeah.
Cop that all the 50 jump chumps.
I think that feels like the personality evaluation of you'd be really good up in space is also saying you're not so good on the Earth, right? All of those things that make you real good up there, some of them are like, oh, you sound like you might be a bit annoying to be around.
We don't want you
Real
here.
buzzkill.
Yeah.
Well, because of his high results, Gagarin was further selected for an elite training group known as the Sochi 6, who would make up the first cosmonauts of the Vostok program.
Sochi, they did an Olympics there eventually.
Yeah, the Winter Olympics, yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. I know some things.
I know them.
These 6 had even more intense training. They're no longer chumps. They've now done
How many jumps?
55. I don't know, I'm guessing.
Now they're doing some downhill slalom skiing.
When's the jump from chump?
Let me just tell you that they really earned their spots here. The 6 finalists were also the 6 shortest men of the group.
I agree.
Space being at a premium on a ship. So
Why didn't they just do that from the
I
beginning?
know. Why did you interview 200 people? In the end, they just went, these 6 will do. Just line up in high order. You 6, come with me.
The whole room is full of everyone. Like they start calling them out one by one, and people are like at first going, "Oh yes, I made it." By the 6th, they're like, "Hang on a second, I think I see what's happened here.
It's like
This isn't because I got a shit personality."
Sergey's like 6'8" in the corner crying. Bye. Gagarin himself
Is he a
was
vampire?
He's a vampire for some reason.
yeah, as all tall people are. Get away from me, you freaks.
I want to go to space.
Vampires also do very well without oxygen.
Do they?
Yeah, they don't need to breathe. They're dead. They're undead.
Are they?
Are they? Is that zombies? I'm pretty sure vampires aren't alive.
Hmm.
Am I wrong here?
Seems a bit prejudiced or something.
Oh,
They
no.
definitely don't have souls.
Oh, I fell for this one.
They're dead to me.
I got cancelled over vampires.
Gagarin himself, for context, he was only 157 centimeters tall, or 5'1".
That is basically my height.
Really?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I'm 156 centimeters.
You did it.
He is tiny. I'm very short.
He was quite a small man. And
People probably don't know I'm short because I have such a big personality, but I'm the same height as Ariana Grande for context.
Okay.
Wow.
That gives me the context of how tall Ariana Grande is. She's about
She
your
looks tiny.
height. Okay. Quick Google.
I look like a normal person.
Is Ariana Grande is like someone he's like,
He's the same height as Kim Kardashian.
oh, Ariana Grande. Was she on Disney or something?
Do you not know who Ariana Grande
No, I know
is?
the name, she's a singer, but
Jesus Christ.
I would not have
man.
been able to pull her out of a lineup.
Are you serious?
Is she's
Have you
but
been
you're
online?
saying she's a super big star.
Yeah, she's
All
an
these
A-list
associated acts I
celebrity.
could.
she's also a pretty shit person. Is that correct?
She's
Terrible.
alright. I think she's nice.
Oh, really?
I think she's
thought
quite
she was,
funny,
I thought she was a
actually.
massive diva and like horrible to work with.
No, you just heard that because she's a woman.
Isn't she also like, I only let you photograph one side of my face? Is that correct?
Well, that's just a marketing plan. That doesn't make her a bitch.
Chris Isaac was like that too. Are you calling him a bitch and a diva?
No, he did a bad thing. And he knows what he did. Cancelled. No, I've definitely heard that she was not a nice person, but there you go.
Yeah, Dave. That's only because a man who behaves like that. Sorry, Naomi, let me tell you, I'm the feminist on this podcast.
Yeah, please.
That's true. That's actually
Dave.
he's the feminist of the
Um,
podcast.
So if a man behaves in this way, he's decisive and a leader. A woman steps up, and all of a sudden she's a bitch and a diva. So maybe a bit of self-reflection. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Did
Am I on cancel?
I can send you a very nice speech by one Nicki Minaj on the subject.
Really?
She's one of the associated acts. Are they friends?
Yeah, they collab a lot.
All right.
Um,
She started on Broadway.
Ariana Grande she tans a lot though, to the point where some people have questioned if she
Oh,
is
yeah.
doing
I've
blackface.
definitely heard that about her as well. Yeah.
It's an
Great-
amazing
good
name,
person,
Ariana
good person.
Grande.
She's still doing a tan. It's just where's the point? But then she's Italian, and it's I feel like there's still debate in the community as to whether that's white.
Italian.
Yeah.
What?
Even my boyfriend, who's Italian, I always tell him that he's white, and he says I'm olive.
Well, do you know that I'm
1/16 Swiss Italian.
So
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think it's 1/8.
Swiss
but-
Italian too.
Well, I think 1/16 Italian if you split up the Swiss from the Italian. I think I'm 1/8 Swiss Italian.
I think you're 1 in 32 Italian.
How dare you?
Sorry about that. Sorry, you were talking about
Dave,
Ariana
what were you
Grande.
talking about? Ariana Grande, that's right.
Yeah. No, I was talking about how short Gagarin was. But it
Ariana
wasn't-
Grande's
tiny.
height.
It wasn't just his height that made him excel. According to the European Space Agency, Gagarin was also favoured as a candidate by his peers. When the 20 candidates were asked to anonymously vote for which one they would like to see as the first to fly, all but 3 chose Gagarin.
Ah.
Wow.
Tall man Sergey. Not a fan. 5. 5. The group...
Sergey's 8 feet tall.
he's too tall.
You picture of like that Simpsons tall man character, and Nelson made
Oh,
fun
yeah.
of him, and then he made him.
We
put down
all
his
need
pants.
an automobile.
Sorry, but I don't think I've ever met an adult man as short as me. Is this because people have gotten taller as time went on? Does that go back, or
I'm sure-
are we not going back far enough for that to be a thing?
No, that's definitely a thing. In AFL, the ruckmans in like the 60s were 6 foot tall,
Really?
which is the equivalent of 182 centimeters, and now ruckmen are 205, 210 centimeters, so they're like sort of 7 foot.
Mm.
And I think that scientifically proves that people are getting taller. I'm sure that is true, that people are getting taller.
But there definitely are people that are your height.
Yeah,
And
the
out
only
there.
one I've seen is that bagel boss guy.
Oh, yeah. He's a meme, Dave.
What's a bagel boss?
It's a shop where there's bagels, and then it's just like a middle-aged guy who's my height, and he's just screaming at all the women because no women want to date him on dating sites because he's too short.
And now he's an internet celebrity now. I think he signed a big deal. And now he's a big deal.
Can I just say, I hate the internet. It's awful.
Please, Dave, do go on.
Well, Gagarin, he made it to the final 2, alongside
I
man
predict
called
he made it to the final 1.
German Titov. Gagarin was nominated as the pilot and Titov as his backup, and this was just a few days before the actual flight that they found out.
His understudy, if you will.
He was an understudy. He was swinging. When Gagarin and Titov were informed of the decision during a meeting on April the 9th, Gagarin was, of course, very happy, and Titov was reportedly disappointed. Then the next day, on April 10, this meeting was reenacted in front of live television cameras, so there would be official footage of the event. I don't know if they included Titov being disappointed or not. Imagine that. They make him reenact it.
It'd be fun. Yeah, someone's there going, it's got to be accurate. Tito, show us.
Cry!
As an indication of the level of secrecy involved, one of the other cosmonaut candidates who I mentioned before, Alexei Leonov, later recalled that he didn't know who was chosen for the mission until after the space flight had begun. So they didn't want the Americans knowing that they were about to launch someone into space. So they didn't tell anyone except the pilot, which was Gagarin, and his backup.
So they didn't know what they were, for lack of a better word, auditioning for.
Yeah, no, when they met to the final group, they were told what was happening.
They thought it was a
Okay.
singing
Final
contest.
6.
When I said understudy, that was a joke, but then I really forgot the word apply.
He passed the audition. Great.
He got a call back into the final 6.
During the intermission, and they just had to reset the stage so if everyone could leave the theatre. That'd be fantastic. The spacecraft built by the Soviets that was chosen to fly Gagarin into space was called the Vostok. That's why it's called the Vostok program. The craft, to describe it, was made up of a spherical descent module, 2.3 meters in diameter, with a glass window, and this part housed the cosmonaut instruments and an escape system.
So he's a little bubble boy.
You can, so it's like looking into a round dome with a man sitting in a chair. On re-entry, the cosmonaut would eject from the spacecraft at about 7,000 meters or 23,000 feet and descend via parachute, while the capsule would land separately. It also had an ejector seat that could be used if there was a problem within the first 40 seconds of takeoff. After that, you were in trouble. The entire mission was controlled by, I didn't know this, by automatic onboard systems or by the crew on the ground. Despite being an experienced pilot, Gagarin wasn't given control of anything on the ship, as they were unsure how a human might react to weightlessness in space.
So
That's actually pretty smart.
He basically just sat there.
So he was just.
Why do they need him to
He
be
was
smart?
basically their stray dog.
Yeah, he
No
was.
wonder they just picked the shortest people. Why do they do those?
Yeah, they were
tests
like,
about his
this
memory?
is rigged. An envelope was placed on
He
board.
gets shy when you tell a naughty joke, and that's why he's perfect to sit in this tiny little circle.
An envelope was placed on board, and inside was a code that could be entered that gave Gagarin control in the event
It
of an
was written
emergency.
in invisible ink.
But prior to the event, they broke protocol, and apparently several people just told him the code. They just told him it's
6969.
It was just 125.
Oh,
Is that real?
Yeah, they just said. Apparently, they were like, it's just 125 in case you need it. Let's find out if he needs it.
Wait, so what was he supposed to have done to get the code?
Open up an envelope, get out the card. But I
Oh,
imagine,
so he could just do that at any time anyway.
yeah, but I imagine like if the thing's spinning out of control, or like you've got like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
To get. Just
What
put
a
the
weird
code in.
system. Get him to write on the back of his hand.
But he's
How
not
about
allowed to
don't
look
even-
at the back of his hand unless he
Yeah,
needs
that's
to.
right.
He's got to wear a glove. That would make more sense. Because
Remove
he's
the
going to
glove.
have that, like the envelope's floating in
And
zero G.
why can't he just know the
Zero
code
G.
anyway?
Yeah.
He's only going to use it if he needs it.
How about you get rid of the code and just make it a button?
Yeah, hit the
With
button.
just hit the big red button. Don't do it unless there's an emergency. We trust you. You got a pretty good memory and you don't like jokes or something.
Doesn't like naughty. He gets embarrassed for naughty jokes.
Oh,
Yeah, but he's very intelligent in other ways.
yeah.
And
In his height,
he takes shoes off.
he takes feet off.
Chops them off at the door.
Yeah,
He's real
He
weird.
puts his feet up. Why do you think he's so short? He chopped his legs off. He's a normal. He started saying, "Hang on, they're only shortlisting the short people. Give me 5 minutes." He came back in walking on
Call
just
that
his
short?
knees. He cut a full foot off. With every day that went past, the likelihood that the Americans would get to space first increased, so they always had their eye on the clock. A few weeks prior to the launch, a prototype of the craft that Gagarin would use, called the Vostok 3KA-2, completed one low orbit carrying a life-size dummy named Ivan Ivanovich and a dog. Ivan Ivanovich is apparently the Russian equivalent of John Doe.
Ah.
There you go. The dummy was so realistic.
That's way more fun, Ivan
It is.
Ivanovich.
Isn't that great? And the dummy was so realistic that a sign reading Macket, Russian for dummy, was placed under his visor so that anyone who found him after his missions would not think that he was a dead cosmonaut or an alien.
This man has turned to foam in space.
Is it a dead man or a live alien?
The dog survived and Ivan was sold in a Sotheby's auction in the 90s.
Oh,
There you
that's so
go.
nice. Did the dog live a happy life?
Yeah, had a great time.
Really?
I'm pretty
Wasn't
sure.
like sold and then immediately stuffed.
No, I think a lot of the dogs, the people, at least the crew felt sorry for them. So, like at the first Dog in Space before, I read that one of the dog's owners, well, you know, the crew felt sorry for it, so took it out for a walk and maybe even took it home the night before the mission to sort of give it some happy memories before it died in space.
Oh my gosh.
So they weren't that bad.
Oh no.
But finally, moving on, the day of the launch came, April 12th, 1961, and Vostok 1 took off at 9:07 a.m. with a 27-year-old Yuri Gagarin on board.
27 Club. Potentially.
Potentially.
Just like Amy Winehouse. Him and Amy Winehouse.
Well, he doesn't have to live to be the first person in space, does he? He could still be out there,
Yeah.
floating on forever.
I think probably would have run
Just
out
like
of
Amy
food by
Winehouse.
now.
Oh, he's dead, but he's just floating on for. You'd be the ultimate member of the 27 Club, just flying into space forever and ever and ever.
They didn't know anything back then, right? Like they could be like, maybe in space, you just stop aging and you just live forever. They wouldn't. I reckon there would have been theories like that. You don't believe that?
No.
Well, I don't know.
Sorry.
I'm waiting to find out the answer. They weren't sure before if they were going to even know how to fly a plane up there. How do you know anything? They thought an alien might come back and look like a dummy. I'm just saying, they didn't know what was happening.
That's true.
Yeah, but it's like... It's not like being like, we don't know if we can get a plane up there. It's not the same thing as, we don't know if you go up there, you become invincible and ageless.
I still don't know if that's not true. I mean, we haven't been to every bit of space. I reckon if you hit a real sweet spot, you become invincible.
Matt's
It's
really
like a fairy fountain in like Zelda.
I need this.
like rolling the dice on this really badly.
I'm going for that spot up there. I reckon that could be the spot.
When he set off for space, Gagarin was dressed in a bright orange spacesuit and a helmet inscribed with CCCP painted in red. These painted letters were a last-minute addition, marking Gagarin as a Soviet citizen so that he would be recognizable after parachuting to safety following ejection from the spacecraft. Otherwise, they were worried that whoever found him might worry he was a spy and possibly try and kill him. They really didn't think much of their citizens. They have to mark a dummy and they have to mark a man, not a spy. Well, that's what a spy would say. Not a dummy. That's what a dummy would say.
Imagine, yeah.
Not a spy. I really thought he was a spy, but now that he's wearing this big sign that says, I'm not a spy.
CCCT. Oh, why did you say so? What does that stand for?
I actually don't know.
Citizen, citizen, citizen.
Paul? Yeah. What it stands for.
There's a question mark at the end, obviously, the way you upward inflected.
Oh,
on
yeah,
that.
sorry, did I not read that question
Yeah.
mark? Yeah. As the rockets blasted off, the control room radioed to him. Preliminary stage, intermediate, main, liftoff. We wish you a good flight. Everything's all right.
Everything's all right.
Gagarin's reply was, off we go. Goodbye. Until we meet soon, dear friends.
Oh, that's nice.
And then the phrase he uttered as he took off was, Poi Harley, or let's go, which later became a popular phrase around the Eastern Bloc.
Ah.
That's nice.
Yeah, so he basically
Let's go. He invented let's go.
he popularized that phrase.
Before that, everyone was just staying in.
He invented the concept of Saturday night. And it took off really quickly. In order to escape Earth's gravitational pull, a ship needs to hit 17,500 miles per hour or move at 5 miles per second.
I can run that.
Yeah, well, you can now, but they couldn't back then. People are obviously a lot taller now. Imagine how short you would have been back then.
Ugh, it would have been 4'9".
Can you imagine? The Vostok's capsules cannonball shape helped the rocket and spacecraft reach the necessary velocity. On board was 10 days of provisions in case the engines failed, but everything went to plan. And over the course of 108 minutes, Vostok 1 travelled around the Earth once, reaching a maximum height of 203 miles or 327 kilometres.
108 minutes.
So he was there for, an hour and 48 minutes, and that was it.
That's what it took him to go all the way around the world.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Going pretty fast.
That's pretty fast.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty zippy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm genuinely very impressed.
What's the mileage like on that little baby?
It's pretty terrible, but you get some sweet speed.
Yeah.
You really got to put in premium.
It's not too good for city driving, but
Once
you
you're
hit the
cruising on a
open road-
highway, once you're orbiting the Earth, you better believe it basically runs itself.
Can't put any E10 in it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not. Gagarin wrote in his post-flight report, the feeling of weightlessness was somewhat unfamiliar compared with Earth conditions. You think? Somewhat unfamiliar.
Fuck, he really was dry, wasn't he?
Here you feel as if you are hanging in a horizontal position in straps. You feel as if you are suspended. Thanks, mate. During the mission, he was promoted to the rank of Major. So whilst he was up there, got a promotion. In order for the mission to be counted as an official space flight, the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale...
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, the FIA. The governing body for aerospace records at the time had determined that the pilot must land with the spacecraft for it to count.
Right.
What?
Really, he ejected at 7,000 metres and then parachuted back to Earth. But the Soviet leaders told the world and the Federation that Gagarin had touched down with the Vostok 1, and they did not reveal that he ejected until years later. And the Federation...
Years later.
Like over a decade later. The Federation later found out and changed their rules. But at the time, they lied so he could get the record, and he was recognised as the first person in space. He was the first person to leave Earth's orbit and head into space, and this instantly catapulted him to huge worldwide fame. Upon his return to Earth, Gagarin was an international hero, especially around the Soviet Union. A cheering crowd of hundreds of thousands of people greeted him in Red Square in Moscow. He was a poster child for the huge victory in the space race and was rewarded by being named Deputy of the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union, the highest legislative body in the Soviet Union. And he was appointed commander of the cosmonauts detachment. He was also named as Hero of the Soviet Union, and there were celebrations across the country.
Okay, all he did was sit there, though, let's be honest.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing that a dummy on that flight did the same amount of work as he did.
Well, it also earned the title better than he did because it didn't eject itself.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the dog did better than he did.
Yes.
But I didn't mention the thousands of parades for the dog, though, did I?
Oh, no, you did.
They happened.
Really?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
why do you keep hurting me?
The media hype was so huge that at his first press conference in Moscow, it has been claimed that over 1,000 reporters turned up to ask him questions from all over the world.
Too many reporters.
People were one at a time. One at a time. I'll get to you all.
I love it when someone's doing a press conference and they're real comfortable and know everyone there. They'll say, I'll take Greg's
Matt,
question
please.
first.
Thank you.
Do you reckon he was doing that there? Okay, sorry.
Guessing names?
I think Jessica over here was up first, and I'll take you next, Joe.
Classic ScoMo.
Am I ScoMoing it?
Yeah.
Are you starting to sound a little anti-ScoMo?
Oh, I don't want to come across as political.
Do you want to pledge an allegiance one way or the other? Are you pro or no ScoMo?
I'm a famed centrist.
What about
You're from the sensible
Elbow?
Elbow. More like El no.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're a ScoMo.
Great.
More like Sco no.
Anyway, enough ScoMo. Please, Dave, do go on.
Well, a few months later, he went to the UK and visited London and Manchester, where, of course, it was raining. Despite the heavy rain, he
Classic.
refused an umbrella, instead insisting that the roof of the convertible car he was riding in remain open and stood so the cheering crowds could see him. His driver drowned.
Oh, why? That's a real weird. I was going to say, that's a weird place to laugh.
I just thought that was such a funny image of him standing at the back of a car waving, and the car
It's just
it's
full.
slowly filling with water, and the driver's going, "Oh no, oh no!" Oh, it really made me laugh.
But if he had an umbrella, then you could still see him.
No, he didn't want to be seen as a weak person with an umbrella. Am I right?
I wish he stayed up there longer, to be honest.
Well, he went on a worldwide tour and visited a dozen countries within months. Meanwhile...
The UK is in an alliance with America, with the US.
Yeah.
So did the US like him?
Oh, no. The US hate him, which I was about
But
to
the
say.
UK likes him.
Yeah, so they were happy to host him and all these European countries, and he went to Brazil and Central America and all these places. But meanwhile, the jealous Americans cracked it, and President Kennedy banned him from entering the United States of America.
Petty.
I doubt he even asked to come.
Yeah.
They would not let him. The Soviets would not let him. But
That was it, and it was after that maneuver that the Cold War got its name.
yeah, that was what a cold move. Come
my
on.
really popular enemy? Well, you're not even allowed to come to my party.
He's like, bye. Bye. This is from a website called Russia Beyond, describing Gagarin's reception around the world. He even had lunch with the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, and broke protocol by taking a photo with the monarch. The president of Egypt gave Gagarin the golden keys to the gates of Cairo and Alexandria, while in Havana, Fidel Castro just hugged the hell out of him.
Gave him a pair of thongs.
Just hug the hell out.
Yeah, and that one.
No, they're Havianas. Sorry.
At least, that last bit is true because there was a photo of them hugging.
Which broke
Thank God. I don't
protocol.
believe anything else that you're saying here because there's no
Well,
photos.
they did misspell Elizabeth II, so I'm not sure how trustworthy that website is. But I did enjoy
Is
hugging
that the
hell out
same
of
queen
him.
as now?
Certainly
Yeah.
is.
Man,
Since
she's
1953.
She's fucking hell. She's
Been
old.
around a long, long time.
Yeah.
Good on her.
Was she 93, 94?
Someone.
Done well.
Yeah. Yep.
Someone what?
I was just going to say, we got a tweet a couple of days ago. Someone was offended that we're a bit rude to the Queen.
What did you say?
We did an episode on her. I can't. 2 or 3 years ago. I have no idea what we said.
I think the comment also included, I'm not a monarchist.
Yeah.
Mate, I think you are.
If you have to say you're not a monarchist, you're 100% a monarchist.
I enjoyed that tweet feedback. I did not know how to reply to it, but I really did enjoy it. If you are still listening.
I love it when you have a podcast and someone will respond to something you said literally years ago. And they'll be like, actually this. It's like, I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
That happens a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, once on my own podcast, someone sent me a message and I read it out and I was like, I don't know what the fuck they're referencing. Turns out they were referencing my time on Do Go On.
It's
Multiple
funny.
people were like, don't you remember this amazing riff you did? Too many to count. Too many to keep in my brain.
Couldn't keep them all.
Yeah, I'm doing a great riff right now.
Listen to
about
this gold.
Compliment this one.
It's very late.
There's one that we get messages about. There was at some point the Holy Roman Empire is mentioned, and I took that literally somehow. And people explained to me that it was not holy or Roman or an empire or something. That happens every month or two. I'll get a message about that.
Good.
Did you know that, Dave? I don't. You obviously didn't correct me at the time enough for them to be to not.
So
want
now
to-
it's
It's
my
your
fault.
fault.
Well, you would have known that. Why'd you leave me hanging out to dry?
From now on, I instruct you to reply with the same Will Ferrell gif every time. Because that
Okay.
is always funny.
No, I'm going to plead the fifth, which I think means
You don't have to talk.
Shut the hell up.
freedom to not say anything.
I mean,
Nice.
you can
I
do that
choose
at all
not to
times.
race. Well, I should. It feels like tonight I should have more than usual.
The partying and constant socialising got to Gagarin, with numerous sources saying he may have struggled with drinking a bit too much after his accomplishment. Because everywhere he went, he would
Party
be...
That was a party.
There's a party for him, star attraction. They expect him to have a drink with them, and eventually it just sort of became part of his lifestyle. Meanwhile, the US was still desperate to catch up, and they didn't match the feat until February 1962, when astronaut John Glenn made 3 orbits in a spaceship called, not as badass as the previous one, the Friendship 7.
I'm sorry.
They really changed their tune, didn't they?
The Friendship 7.
The Friendship 7 with John Glenn. They were 10 months behind, and by this time, Yuri's backup Titov, the one that had been crying all over the shop,
Yeah.
had already become the second man in space.
Oh, well, he got his then, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's
I
less,
mean, he didn't
he's
get
less
to be
remembered.
number
He's
one.
not referenced on pub quizzes around the world. Sorry about that, Titov.
You
He's the
know,
Buzz Aldrin of it all, isn't he?
He really is.
Do you think they named it the Friendship 7 because the other one sounded so cool and was so embarrassing?
Yeah,
But
when
they
it
were like,
exploded.
name it something dumb, and then if it does something good, then fuck it. Then
low
it'll be a good thing.
expectations. The Friendship 7 was Martin Prince, Ham, We call him that because he makes
He enjoys ham radio. This is Data.
We're doing Simpsons references. Is
Oh,
that ringing a bell?
No, I haven't seen. I used to know all the Simpsons, but
Have you replaced that with memes? Your knowledge of Simpsons with memes? You can't know both. You
Yeah.
just can't.
Memes are like the
I
modern
think it's
day
just
Simpsons.
Glee now.
All right.
Glee.
I'm back into Glee.
You're watching Glee,
Yeah,
right?
I'm on the last season. Now.
That felt like that was big, and then it just disappeared. No one talks about it anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, the kids had to graduate, but it just dropped on Netflix in Australia, and everyone's watching. Jess is watching Glee.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, sick.
Oh, yeah. We get it,
She's
Jess.
binging.
Watching Glee.
I knew it.
She can't pull herself away.
Well, that's a pretty good excuse.
There's a Glee renaissance happening.
It's the only excuse we'll accept.
Ideally, on a podcast, you would have done a portmanteau of Glee and Renaissance, like a Glee-naissance. Then that would have been good podcasting. So you sort of...
Dave, do go on.
Thank you so much.
Just saying you missed an opportunity there. And
Matt.
Some opportunities are best missed.
look, I'm not saying I like him. I quite hate him, and I feel bad that I did one before, but that's just something you have to do when you're doing a podcast for some reason.
It's true. But back to Yuri.
Please.
Gagarin was keen to do more missions, but the Soviets were very protective of him, not wanting to risk losing their hero in an accident. So they weren't keen on the idea of sending him back into space. He later returned to Star City, which is the cosmonaut facility.
And also
That
the
is a
Sydney
cool name.
Casino, isn't it? Isn't Sydney's casino Star City?
I think this is just called Star.
Ah,
Oh, probably is. It sounds very Hollywood to me.
Yeah.
Star City. He worked behind the scenes on aircraft designs and was eventually promoted to colonel before being made deputy training director of the cosmonaut facility.
geez, that feels like he's going backwards.
It really
Colonel
is.
and then deputy of the training facility.
They're just keeping him in a little glass cabinet.
I'm not a pencil pusher.
I'm an orb sitter.
I sit in a thing for a couple of hours.
Best couple of hours of my life. Let's go.
I became immortal up there, I assume. I'm going to live
I
forever.
haven't died since.
That is good evidence.
He was eventually allowed back into the space program, and Gagarin was chosen as a backup pilot for Vladimir Komarov on a mission called the Soyuz 1. Sadly, Komarov died on the mission when his parachute failed to open, with Gagarin watching on.
Oh my gosh, that's why you need a reserve.
Well, after this death, he was banned from training and participating in further space flights. They were like, whoa, that could have been you.
Oh,
and you're
he's
our most famous guy.
Too important.
Yeah, we can't let you. It would be
Really?
embarrassing if you died doing that.
What if interesting? Yeah, it's such an interesting way of looking at it. If he's famous for supposedly being good at a thing, even though really didn't do anything. Surely you want him being the guy who does stuff.
Yeah, I think they were just like,
Oh my god, that was so eloquently said.
Thank you.
they said to him, but you're one and done. You achieved the impossible. We've got to keep you alive. However, he was still allowed to fly aircraft. Sadly, Matt, all good things.
Oh, that's
No.
how Dave says people die. It's real weird.
Less than 1 year later, this is after they said you can't be in space anymore, but still fly these planes. 1 year later, on March 27, 1968, whilst on a routine training flight, Gagarin and another pilot called Vladimir Suryagin were both killed when their MiG-15 fighter jet crashed near a town just outside of Moscow.
I'm sorry, I just have to say that other pilot's name is incredibly close to what my guess was.
Vladimir Suryagin.
I said Vladimir Sergei.
Oh, that's true.
Sorry, but
Half a point?
back to
Yeah.
Yuri's death.
We'll give that back to you. We'll give that to you. So he died.
The saddest thing about it,
Oh.
he didn't even get to see the Summer of Love, which I don't know how much of that got through to communist Russia.
Oh, they got it.
Back in the USSR. Would they even have got to enjoy that Beatles song about them?
Probably not.
Oh,
Sorry to say.
that was the coldest part of that war.
yeah.
The lack of Beatles.
The bodies of Gagarin and Suryagin were cremated and their ashes interred in the walls of the Kremlin. Bit of an honour. But for years there was heavy
Is that
speculation.
like the White House?
Yeah, well basically it's, next to Red Square in Moscow, there's that massive...
Yeah, absolutely.
In one of the latest Mission Impossible films, they blow it up.
Dave's avoiding giving a strong answer because he does not want the emails.
Yeah. It's annoying when people email.
It's not annoying. I love correspondence
I hate
from
it.
our comrades.
I love getting fact checked.
Yeah, I love
It
it.
doesn't. It really
Especially
doesn't happen.
ages later after you've forgotten about it and
Yeah,
don't care
and when
about
they
it.
have the power of Google and I'm just riffing off my mind.
The fact checking does not happen all that often. It's
actually impressive.
Mainly
Thanks,
just
everyone.
people being very nice. But there is the occasional fact check. It's like, no, I don't remember saying the wrong thing, but I'll take your word for it because I say wrong things all the bloody time. Check out my Twitter feed.
The important thing here is that there was heavy speculation over their deaths. I'm going to quote now from a History.com article called "What Really Happened to Yuri Gagarin, the First Man in Space?" Quote.
Sounds relevant.
Summed up eloquently. An official investigation into the accident concluded that Gagarin swerved to avoid a foreign object, such as a bird or a weather balloon, sending the plane into a tailspin that ended with its crash into the ground. But many aviation professionals view this conclusion as implausible, and rumours continue to swirl around the crash. Some thought Gagarin might have been drinking, or that he and Suryagin might have been distracted by taking photographs from the plane's window. That sounds
Oh,
unlikely.
please have been drinking.
Others suggested a cabin pressurization valve could have failed, causing both pilots to suffer hypoxia. More outlandish theories included sabotage for political motives, suicide, or even collision with an UFO. End quote.
Well, collusion and collision are very different things.
Collusion with a UFO.
Yeah, could have been.
Maybe. Do you think? I love it.
For years,
I love it.
for years, the truth
That's
wasn't
a part.
known.
That's a series. That's a sitcom.
Yeah.
Collusion.
Da-na-na-na. One of them's a pilot, one of them's an alien. Then they're together and colluding. Pooh.
I mean,
Short-lived.
how do I green light it? For years, the truth wasn't known, however, until the fall of communism. A KGB report that at the time was...
Oh, Dave, what? All good things must come to an end.
Sorry, spoiler alert there. A KGB report at the time was declassified, and it blamed air-based personnel and bad weather. That's what their actual report was. But in 2013, an astronaut I mentioned a couple of times earlier, Alexei Leonov, admitted that he was in the area on the day of the flight, and he announced what he believed happened that day.
Are you going to tell us?
He said, a second plane being tested that day, an Su-15 jet, mistakenly flew far lower than its planned altitude of 33,000 feet, instead passing close to where Gagarin's plane had been flying, around 2,000 feet. Such a large aircraft would be able to roll over a small one, like the MiG-15, in its wake, and if the two planes came too close together, it could have possibly flipped Gagarin's plane. Those are now generally the accepted version of events, but some...
That stayed stum.
Is that a podcast pun there? Stum?
Stum?
No.
No, some people are still sus on it all, so some people still think that maybe he was taken out by the government.
By the USSR government.
Yeah, maybe.
Why would they take him out?
I'm not sure. Maybe he knew too much.
That communism was bad.
Maybe they knew.
Are you an anti-commie? I thought you were red under the bed. You know what they say?
I have to admit, I don't know that much about communism, but I've not heard good things.
What it is.
It's the same about Ariana Grande. I mean, I can't fully comment.
Oh,
But
it's,
I
it's just misogyny.
what I haven't heard isn't great.
Right.
I've got
Well,
some
you
pamphlets
clearly
you can
haven't
read.
heard the song God is a Woman.
What if God
Was a woman.
It's a great song.
Just a woman on a bus of muss.
Bus of muss.
So it was out of its time, that song. People are still trying to unlock the genius.
Why would that guy wait until, when did he say this? 2013.
Yeah.
Why would he wait that long to say something?
Well, because before the fall of the USSR, he was probably worried that if he said something, he'd be taken out.
Was the other plane a government plane?
Yeah, something to do with that. His reasoning was why, and they asked him, why did they cover it up? And he said he thought it was because at the time they lied about the events. One, because he was a national hero, and two, they were embarrassed that an accident of that magnitude could happen so close to Moscow, near a big city, that a plane could fly in the wrong spot and take out their war hero.
I'm always worried when I'm in a plane that I'm just going to see another one like flying towards it.
That's when
Now
you never
you
look
can
out the
too.
window.
Yeah, that's why I was sitting in the middle lane. So that's basically the report. But the final part I would like to say, the first human in space, Yuri Gagarin, left behind quite a legacy. both in the USSR and around the world. NASA's Apollo 11, the first mission to put people on the moon that we're celebrating 50 years last week, landed in
And
July.
we all celebrated hard.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I,
I'm
for one,
still-
knew about it.
Oh, that's why Jess is sick. She's coming down from that huge...
Gone too hard.
Space flu.
Yeah. Apollo
Space
11.
celebration flu.
Yeah.
Well, it was big news around the world, let me tell you. It landed in July 1969, and the crew left behind a commemorative medallion bearing Gagarin's name, despite him being from essentially the other side, the USSR.
They left that on the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
They also left the names of all the,
Oh, I want to cry
all the
now.
astronauts that had died for them to get there.
That is so nice.
That's nice. They're putting litter on the moon. Oh.
Do you have to be so cynical? Let them have this.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry, I'm still
God damn.
when you both turned on communism and that hurt. So I had to hurt something you love.
Oh, okay, sorry. Which
Shit
is
on the moon.
Yeah, medallions and plaques.
Yeah.
I love littering the moon.
I know you're a big plaque head.
It gives life meaning, plaques. When the Soviet Union fell, many statues of former communist leaders like Stalin were torn down by the people. But Gagarin's, however, were left up because he was still a hero to the people.
Oh, that's nice.
Before journeying into
A
space...
real Grant Denyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know about 3/4 of our listeners aren't Australian.
I'll Google it.
And
Sorry.
No. What I was saying is, and the amazing thing is, they all know Grant Denyer
Oh, great.
because he won a gold logie,
that's-
and they all know what gold
That's
logies
big
are.
news. Big news. Before journeying into space, cosmonauts visit Gagarin's grave in the Kremlin wall, and after arriving at the space base, they plant a tree.
The what?
Space base.
Okay.
They plant a tree in the same grove.
Put those two words together. Space.
What do you get?
Space race. Portmanteau that. Space.
Sprays.
Space.
They.
Berets.
I'm gonna try the sentence again.
Give it a go.
They plant a tree in the same grove where Gagarin planted his before his mission, and then they visit his office, which has been preserved since his death in
Wait, what?
1968.
Can you say that all again?
Oh, sorry, Sprace really threw you there.
Really
Basically, there's now a tradition where they visit him before they go into space.
Who does?
Cosmonauts.
Oh, in Russia.
Yeah, so they go, they visit where his ashes are, they plant a tree in tribute to him, and then they visit his office as a bit of a superstition type thing. But perhaps his greatest legacy, like all great legacies,
Big energy shift.
is based in urine.
What?
What?
On the way to his launch pad, Yuri really needed to piss on the day of the mission, so he pissed on the tire of the truck that had driven him out to the launch pad.
Before it was just called piss. It actually got changed to urine in honor of him.
So he pissed on the back tire, something that he probably didn't think would still be a tradition to this day. But 5 decades later,
Did he
cosmonauts...
tell people about it? Were
No,
people watching him
Yeah,
do
people
this?
just witnessed him do it.
Why didn't he just piss on the ground?
That's
don't know.
impolite.
You piss on a tire. Come on. You just like... It's fun
I'm
to piss on.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the weird old rules in Melbourne that you can still piss in the city on like the rear tire or something. Is that one? Have I fallen for something there?
I reckon you may have. But to this
My
day...
boyfriend's definitely pissed on the rear tire of my car.
Yeah, because it's legal.
He also pissed in the boot of my car.
That
But that's
is
for another
private
time.
property. So that's
Well,
up to
there you
you.
go.
That's your business.
Literally the final sentence of the podcast I'm getting through here. To this day, 5 decades later, cosmonauts piss on the tire of whatever drove them to the tower on the day. But what about female
I know
cosmonauts?
who I'm not giving a lift. Cosmonauts or my boyfriend.
Yeah, get
Sorry,
away.
please.
What about female cosmonauts? Well,
Yeah.
Life Science claims that female
Oh,
crew
no.
members
No.
splash urine from a cup on the wheel.
I knew it.
So they get a little bit of piss and throw it on the tire.
Their own piss?
Now that is a legacy. 2 things I want in my life: my hometown to be named after me, and someone to piss on something every time they do something because of me.
Yeah.
Someone to piss into a cup and then... Is
Yes.
it their own piss?
It's their own piss.
What
They
happened?
piss in a cup and then what? They just hold the cup in the car.
I don't know. There's a piss cup boy or something that takes the cup back to the base. I
Are
don't
you
know.
serious?
I don't know.
Was it like a chalice
But,
now?
Yeah, there's a piss chalice. But
A royal goblet?
but basically that's it. We finally got there. That is the story of Yuri Gagarin.
Oh,
It's a great story.
lived a hero,
I think
died a hero
Yeah.
to some.
Died. Yeah. To me, I reckon he was taken out by dark forces.
Based on any information beyond
Yes.
what Dave has said?
Just a vibe.
Yeah, any information. I base that on any information.
Anything. Tell
Yeah.
me anything.
Tell me anything, I'll believe
I'll
it.
base it on that.
That does seem pretty sus. I don't think they're just flying planes into each other. I think they're better than that.
It is a bit, yeah, I mean,
Seems like a weird
Was
mistake.
it rare? Like plane crashes were quite rare?
well, I mean, he was inspired by a plane crash in his backyard as a boy.
An
so-
emergency landing.
Hey, emergency landing.
Hey, one
Hey.
man's emergency landing is another man's plane crash. Basically, the difference is if you survive.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
Pretty
clear.
big. Pretty big difference.
That's the only difference.
Otherwise, exactly the same.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that.
Oh, but that's it. I mean,
Wow.
So but I mean, it seems like he.
I hope I haven't been disrespectful.
No, he sounds like he's. I mean, it is weird to be such a famous person for doing it. Because, like Neil Armstrong is a genius, right? He had to be.
Well, have we checked? Because
Maybe he hasn't. Was
I
he
mean,
just
this
sitting
guy
in an
was-
autopilot?
apparently really smart.
no, if you remember the Moon Report episode, Neil had to take that thing into fully
Yeah,
off
he-
autopilot
he
and,
was
and
doing-
crash land onto the moon, basically.
Really?
He was,
Yeah.
and he was
Maybe I'll listen to it.
He was seconds away from...
doing
death.
working
Really?
out.
Is that why
huge
they let him?
sums with grey lead on pad? I think he was having to do maths handwritten.
He'd be embarrassed to have forgotten his calculator. eh?
What a fool.
You would have thought they could afford a scientific calculator, NASA, right? Am I right?
Yeah, right? Get yourself a Casio,
Please.
you idiot.
Hmm.
Too much, too far, too aggressive.
Back off, NASA.
If
Does
you say
anyone call them
NASA
NASA?
one more time,
It really upsets me when you say nice.
That's it.
it's very
Am I saying
upsetting.
that right? NASA? We got that right? NASA? NASA?
It's Nisha.
NASA. Oh. Sorry, I've been saying NASA, but it's NASA. Okay.
It's very unsettling.
Okay, but I'm saying it right now?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
absolutely.
Hey, Dave, I really loved that report. It was fantastic. I
Thank
didn't
you
know
for
anything about
telling us.
this man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And thanks again to Michael Gladson for suggesting that via Facebook in the old hat many years ago. But these days, of course, if you want to suggest a topic, just go to our website, dogoonpod.com, and there's a little tab there, submit a topic.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah.
That's pretty high
If you
tech.
got a website.
If you got a website, you got a gym.
Is that
I think
cool?
it's important that everyone knows that you did like a shuckers thing with your
Yeah, I
hand
did it
there.
like hell yeah. Guys, I get gifs. I get them. I get pop culture. I get memes. Memes, whatever. Which one? What was the correct pronunciation
It's
on that?
memes.
Thank you. I get them.
I think that brings us to everyone's favorite segment of the show.
Oh, no, thank God we got that boring bit out of the way. Please.
So our Patreon, you can support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/dogoonpod. And there's many different rewards you can get, including bonus episodes, and you can get shout-outs, which we're going to do shortly. You can also get the chance to help pick the topics.
This one, I should say, was voted for by the Patreon supporters. There you go.
Ah.
And one of the other rewards you get is on the Sidney Sheinberg Memorial Rest in Peace level. You get to give us a fact, a quote, or a question. I'll read out one of these each week. This week, it comes from Patreon Zachary Briggs. And these patrons also get to give themselves a title. And Zachary gives himself the title Chief Happiness Manager and Informant of Do Go On, which is a very important role. I can only
Absolutely.
assume.
He's hasn't checked in with me for a while, I got to say, about my happiness, but
Yeah.
putting it
What's
out.
that about, Chief?
Yeah, well, I imagine he delegates that to...
yeah.
Has one of his delegates...
Yeah, one of the
got-
underlings.
Yeah, they've got
Absolutely.
touch. Yeah, great.
He doesn't have much face
We know what delegate means.
Yeah.
And he has asked a question, writing, I have a question for you. Okay.
Wow, that's a dead giveaway.
But I feel it's best to set the scene before asking the question.
Okay.
Jeez, I really hope this... I don't read these before we do it. So I really hope it's not Jess specific. But if it is, then jump in.
Yeah, I will.
In my home state of Vermont, in the US of A, we have something called a creamy, pronounced creamy. Well, I nailed it. It's written CREEMEE. Signs for these are everywhere, from gas stations to outside of gyms to pet shops. It's hard to drive through a main road of a town and not see at least one sign saying in big bold letters, they sell creamies. My question to you is,
Do we? Okay.
what do you think
What's
a
your favorite
creamy
day
is?
of the week?
So creamy. CREMM.
C-E-E-M-E-E.
You know what I reckon it is? I reckon it's a spider.
Ice cream and lemonade.
Ice cream
ice cream
in
and
creaming soda.
Oh.
Oh, okay. What do you think?
That's what we call that
So
in
it's
Australia.
Yeah, spider. Is that, yeah.
A spider is
Used to
a
love a
scoop
lime
of ice
spider.
cream in some sort of what you'd call a soda.
So
Carbonated drink.
classically, you'd get
What
Blue
we call a
Heaven.
soft drink.
Yeah. Grab a soft.
Creamy.
I don't want to grab a softie
I
now.
reckon a creamy. I reckon it could be like
Get a softie up, yeah. No, that's worse. No.
There's little like coconut balls that you see them sometimes eat in American shows.
Oh, the like marshmallowy ones?
Oh,
Yeah.
Like the big ones?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word for it.
like
Creamy.
snowballs or
Creamies.
Snowballs. That's what they're called.
Okay, creamies. Am I right?
something. Okay.
Okay,
Do we have an answer?
Creamy. Yeah, he's going to explain
you
it, but
guess it.
I'm going to have a guess. I'm going to guess maybe like a... I mean, it sounds like it's a dessert, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like some sort of whipped cream pie.
What if it's like a milkshake?
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, you're pretty close either way there with drink, if that is right. Let me read on. I always love hearing the ideas from people who haven't heard of this before, and I would love to hear your answers. I'll also send you the correct answer down below. Oh man, I have not gotten this part of it. I've cut and pasted this. I have to go find it. God damn it!
Just Google Vermont
I've
creamy.
looked it up.
Finally, thanks for the laughs and good times, guys. I really appreciate all that you do for us, listeners.
Oh, you are so welcome.
Thank you so much, Zachary.
Personally, I know it takes a lot of time out of my life, my constant dedication to this podcast and being on it, but
Thank
I do
you
it
so
for
much.
you.
Thank you.
To be fair, I've done 2 reports, and that actually took a lot of time.
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, genuine thanks there. I'll buy
Jess
you.
said, "Can you come on again?" And I said, "Do I have to do a report?" And she said, "No." Then I said, "Okay."
Okay, this is what Zachary says at the bottom of his thing that I didn't cut out, but I found his message again. It says, a creamy is a soft serve ice cream, just creamier. It's incredibly
known?
delicious, and I never realized it was an odd name until like college.
What? Why is it creamier?
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, we're in the ballpark there, I guess.
Absolutely.
How do you spell creamy?
C-R-E-E-M-E-E.
Oh.
When we go to America, Dave, we've got to get a creamy.
Creamy from Vermont. I'm Googling it here. There are several different people who claim to be the creators of the frozen treat.
I love the idea that this is its own thing, even though it sounds like it's just an ice cream, only creamier. So they just add more cream into it?
Maybe they just think it's creamier.
Well, let's find out. Everybody, we're going to Vermont.
Oh, I really would like to try creamy. That's
So
awesome.
multiple people think that they've invented. It's kind of like the AB. That's it. That's the end of it.
What do you think AB means? Because it can mean
So
different
it's
things.
it's sort of
Adelaide
like
kebab.
it's chips. It's not Adelaide, is it?
Yeah.
Is it from Adelaide?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from Adelaide.
Yeah.
It's like kebab shops do. It's like chips and then like meat on top and sauce and stuff.
They're called halal snack packs here, right? Is that the
Yes.
same thing? Yeah.
But then the original name is apparently AB. I know what the 2 versions are.
One of them's okay.
Is it?
I think so. I think the actual thing, I looked this up, AB Adelaide.
Some people say it means abortion and some people say it means afterbirth.
Yeah, no, I think...
I'd say you don't want to eat either of those.
I think both of those maybe Atomic Bomb is another one.
Oh. Yeah,
Alan Border.
Alan Border, that's what it is. The Queensland cricketer. Okay, no, maybe...
Adrian Brody.
This article seems to think that creamies are literally just soft serve ice cream.
Ah, interesting.
But creamier. Come on, give him that.
Give him that.
Oh, okay. In the past, ice cream in Vermont was made with a higher butterfat content, which gave it a creamier texture. Hence,
Oh, creamy.
We cherish our creamies.
I get it now.
Apparently, the AB was first served at the North Adelaide Burger Bar. So maybe Adelaide Burger?
But isn't there like someone over the road who disputes it and says that they did it first?
Probably. I love how things like that are.
I love that it's a
Disputed.
local feud.
Love a local feud.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Zachary Briggs, thanks so much for opening up this creamy
Thanks.
/AB discussion.
Get me a creamy. Wish you could mail out a creamy. Damn.
No, let's go to Vermont now.
Mail
Where's
out
Vermont?
creamy.
Is Vermont
Like northeast.
northeast? I mean,
Above Massachusetts and New York.
Massachusetts.
Guys, I love this article. We cherish our creamies, but don't worry. When we travel, we usually know enough to ask for a soft serve.
We're not complete idiots.
The next time you're in Vermont, though, you'd be wise to order a creamy.
But that, I mean, just the fact that they're everywhere as well. Like, I can't remember a place where everywhere you look is soft serve being sold. You know what I
And
mean?
how many soft
You got to
serves
be
are
proud
there?
of something.
I love it. I love it. Pet shops. Yeah, I'm just thinking back what he said. Gas stations, gyms, pet shops all sell creamies.
Well, you just need a machine,
Wow.
really.
Not many people
Pet
live in...
shop. Just popping in to buy a collar.
Pats and puppies.
Pats and
Have
puppies.
Have a creamy.
And have a creamy.
What do we have in Melbourne? Coffee.
Coffee. Oh, you really got to try the coffee in a lane way. That and
Come
catch a bit
on.
of the footy on a Friday night at the G. So what else have we got? That's it.
Coffee and footy, man.
And
And
we all wear
laneways.
black, am I right? Damn it. I'm wearing all black.
You are.
God damn it.
Such a hack.
That's unlucky. It's unlucky I said that today.
Hack and black, smush them together. Hack.
That's
Oh,
me.
you're
I'm
getting
getting
it.
really good at this.
You're getting it.
That's good fun. The
Dave,
other
how are you going?
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
just,
sorry,
I'm,
no,
just,
what-
I'm just obsessed with Vermont, second smallest state by population.
Wow.
That is
Now I'm
wor-
obsessed.
Worthy of obsession. That is a fun. I didn't realize we were doing fun facts.
I can't believe you checked out for 5 minutes of reading and that's the thing you pulled out.
Largest city, Burlington, only 42,000 people, and that's the largest city.
Wow, that's cool.
Amazing.
Boutique.
Boutique.
I love that.
And they all
about
love
it.
creamies. Is there a, can you
I
get
wanna
a creamy
go.
t-shirt?
I wanna
want
go
a
to
creamy
Burlington.
t-shirt.
Why don't
Creamy
you get a
t-shirt.
creamy before you get a creamy
Yeah,
t-shirt?
you. Otherwise, you look like.
'Cause you
a-
can mail
Then
it
you're one of
to
those
us.
people who buys a t-shirt from a band when you can't even name 3 of their
Name
albums.
their first 3 albums, and then you
Pathetic.
can eat a creamy.
What about I'm just here for the maple creamy? That's a t-shirt.
oh, maple creamy.
Fueled
If
by...
you went to Vermont, that's probably why you would go.
Can
as
you get a
well, so
choc
that
top
makes sense.
creamy?
Yeah, it looks like there's a few different flavors. Fueled by maple creamies. That's my t-shirt. I'm going to buy that.
Are
Do
you
they
really?
actually
Jeez, you have-
still? Are they actually still creamier than your average soft serve?
If
Oh,
they're
no,
mailed
they look
over.
Like, are
Creamy.
they using local higher butterfat?
Oh, right.
I don't know.
How do
about
they
that.
do
Oh,
the
so a
creamer?
maple creamy. When it comes to featuring local products, Vermont has it made with the maple creamy, a swirling tower of maple-flavored soft serve piled high.
Because it must be close to the border of Canada as
It
well.
is, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well,
that's,
that would
that's
keep
a
it
meeting
cold.
of cultures right there. A maple creamy.
Oh, here's a photo of a creamy. It does look thicker.
Yeah, that looks...
It
I
does
love a
look
waffle
thicker.
cone as well.
Oh,
Or I
I love
used
that.
to. But
Might
now,
even be too sweet for me.
yeah, that was looking up.
I
would me
can't
would have
eat that.
loved that, but that looks very sweet.
Mm.
But
Were you
know.
going to say something before, Matt?
I was going to say another thing.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
that
Moving
we
on from the
do-
creamies.
That we do on the end of our podcast.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about creamies.
We shout out to some of our great Patreons who support us at patreon.com/dogoonpod. And normally what we do, Naomi, or Jess, if that's your real name.
I'm Jess.
Yeah, Jess, as you know, what you
I don't know why you're mansplaining this to me, but do go on.
What you normally do at the end is you give us some sort of a game to play. We read out 2 names each to thank people, and you give us some sort of a game to play that's relevant to the topic we just talked about. For instance, last week, I cannot remember, but we did a topic about this wild man who did a lot of bad things, or allegedly did a
What
lot
would
of bad...
be the name
What?
of
Yep.
your spacecraft?
Oh, great. Okay.
That is great.
I was about to over-explain it, but you knew what I was talking
Will it
about.
be
I actually did know what you were talking about. I did it last time I was here.
the Friendship 7, for example?
Yeah.
That is great.
I would hurt my feelings if someone.
Dave, do you remember what we did last week? I just started that thought. That might
John
be annoying to
McAfee
someone.
was our topic.
Yeah, and what was the game at the end? I can't remember. What would we have got out of that?
I'm
It was
sorry.
his company maybe. What company did he start? I reckon that's what it was. Anyway,
Sorry, I interrupted you before.
no, I was on a real roll as well. So who knows what genius.
Guys,
you
I'm still Googling Vermont over here.
Get over the cream.
Oh, I love it. I want to... Vermont's... Sorry, Ohio. I reckon Vermont is rivaling you for my new favourite state.
No.
Rivaling
don't say
you.
it.
Rivaling. Ohio is classically my... one of my favourite states. Possibly my favourite.
Ohio.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Vermont, I mean, I'm just rooting for it.
Could we stretch the Golden Mile out to make it all the way to Vermont? Does that line up? Gary through Ohio, Pittsburgh. Can we keep driving from Pittsburgh all the way through to Vermont?
I mean, we could. I'll tell you how far that is. We want to drive from Pittsburgh to Vermont.
What
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
We want to go to
The
Burlington.
Golden Mile. Everyone knows you go from Gary through Ohio to Pittsburgh. That's the Golden Mile. Everyone
Is
does
it?
that drive. It's one of the famous drives. That and Route 66.
This is like Route 69.
Yeah.
Okay, the Golden Mile.
Route 66, but horny.
Well, if you want to drive from Gary to Burlington,
He's doing shakas
it's
again.
only going to take 14 hours.
Ah, yeah, no worries. I mean, we're stopping.
And you
Multiple
drive
times
via
on the way.
Cleveland, Ohio, second best state after Vermont, of course.
Yeah.
And
What? You have.
Whoa!
Whoa. I'm not calling
You've
that.
jumped ship.
I'm not calling that at all.
Maybe I have. It's late.
Do
I'm
we
just-
start or end in Gary as well? Because Gary feels like maybe that's where you finish.
Yeah.
That's the big finish. That's the.
You know what else is set in Ohio?
What do we finish with? A creamy.
Glee.
Is Glee set in Ohio? All right.
Yeah.
Glee's back on time. Sorry, Vermont. Is there any TV show set
Now
in
Glee
Vermont?
is his favourite state.
I love Glee. State of mind.
Is Ohio's also like where the Wright brothers were from and other flying things?
Wright Brothers and Glee, I'm sold.
Yeah.
That's right.
Those are my top two things.
Yes.
And LeBron.
And
Nah,
LeBron, that's right.
Not phased by LeBron.
And the Black Keys and Drew Carey
Really going downhill.
and maybe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The
Yeah, that's
actual
there.
Hall
Yeah,
of
that's
Fame.
there. Yep.
Running out of things.
But let me tell you, people born in Vermont: Calvin Coolidge, Chester A. Arthur, Joseph Smith.
Jay Smith. All right. So we're going to say people's. What were we going to say?
Oh, their spaceship.
their
Their
spaceship
Sorry,
name.
we are.
That's great. Well, can I kick it off by thanking from Caringbah in New South Wales, Australia? I'd love to thank.
Caringbah.
Yeah. Caringbah?
Caringbah?
Caringbah. Yeah, I reckon it's Caringbah.
sounds
yeah,
good.
Caringbah. I'd love to thank, with a fantastic name, Tanya Wayne. How old is that, Tanya Wayne?
Tanya
Love
Wayne.
that name. Wayno.
Thanks, Tanya Wayne.
Thanks so much, Tanya Wayne. And obviously your spacecraft would be called the Flying Ball
Ball of.
of Legendary Air.
Whoa! The flying ball of legendary air.
I wouldn't say it's as catchy as some other ones.
As the Friendship 7.
Okay.
No, I like it. That's good.
Flying FBL. Is that what it was?
Yeah, the FBLA. Okay.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
Yeah. That's big.
I like the delivery.
Tanya Wayne, so I think it's like a blimp spaceship.
Okay.
So it's a big balloon, but because it's filled with awesome air, it is somehow okay up in
So it's
space.
literally a balloon.
Yeah.
I love it.
Is she in it? Is
Good
she
luck,
in the balloon?
Tanya.
There's a little thing. It's a hot air balloon, and she's filled it with a lot of belief. Hot air and a whole lot of belief, and a whole lot of bloody go get 'em attitude.
Hey, if you have a go, you'll get a go.
Yeah,
Damn right.
and I reckon Tanya really believes that.
Thank you to Tanya. Who else we got, Matt?
Thank you so much, Tanya. I'd also love to thank from South Yarra, just over the other side of
South
the city
Yarra?
here in
Oh,
Melbourne,
Chapel
Australia.
Street. Have yourself a bit of a shop.
I'd love to
Go
thank.
see a movie at Jam Factory.
Oh, get down to the Jam Factory. You work in South Yarra,
Yeah,
don't you?
drop by Channel 10.
Just drop by, say hello. Dave and
Is that where
Waleed
that
and
is?
Peter Hellier will be hanging out there.
Interesting.
I did Josh L's podcast with Peter Hellier
Name drop.
a little while ago, and Josh goes, "Matt, do you know Peter?" And I said, "If watching you on TV my whole life counts, then yeah, we go way back."
That's funny. Did he laugh?
Can't remember. Did you die of embarrassment?
Well, look, I'm instantly regret it, and I'm pretty sure. But,
He's a very nice man too. You really don't
He's-
need to try.
He did
no,
ask.
he was so nice.
Afterwards, he did ask if I did the podcast with you. And I said yes, and he went, oh. No, he said he actually said you were funny.
And he's a very nice guy.
That's a shame.
Oh, I was going to give it a listen. Not anymore. Not for me. No, he was very nice about you.
He was great.
Did he say anything about me?
Hasn't mentioned you yet, but I'll bring him up tomorrow.
Cool.
It's one of those surreal things sitting there going, huh, sit in a room with Peter Hellier from from both Dave's boss
And my life.
and my life. He's from Before the Game, Rove Life,
Before the game.
the panel, not
Is
the
that
panel.
the footy
the
show
project.
theme song sung to before the game?
Yes.
It's brilliant. That is good stuff.
That
If
is
you-
niche content.
If you got that, that is really good. Sorry, Matt. Who you got to thank from South
South
Yarra?
Yarra, everyone not said her name. Sarah Young.
Oh wow.
Sarah Young.
Can we call her
Thanks, Sarah Young.
spaceship the Jam Factory?
Oh,
That sounds cool.
Hell
Jumpin'
yeah.
Jam Factory.
Yeah, the Jump and Jam Factory.
And it does have 8 cinemas in it as well. So it's,
Really?
yeah.
That's weird because Jam Factory has 11.
You can't fit 11 cinemas in a spaceship. Are you
That's
crazy?
true. Sorry, I was being dumb.
We've got to cap it at 8. What are we dealing with?
I'm
here?
so...
That actually makes sense because on one side you've got 11 cinemas and on the other side you've got 3. So it's clearly only the left side.
Right, we've
Yeah,
lost
so
the
that's
right hand
like-
side in an accident.
You've lost gold class, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Damn.
she's not greedy. She wants to get to space. And, you know, it's much like the cosmonologists. They had to only take the shortest people. So they only took the smallest and least luxurious cinemas.
And the youngest woman alive,
Yep.
Sarah Young.
Sarah Young.
Thank you to Sarah. I would like to thank, if I can, a couple of people here, if I may. From Sarah
Okay.
to Amy. And if you're at home, you're a patron, you're a
Amy.
supporter, your name's Amy, you're thinking, is this me? Are you from Belfast? Oh, narrowing it down. I would like to thank from Belfast, Amy Trainer.
Amy Trainer.
Any relation to Megan Trainer?
I believe, yes.
Remind me, Megan Trainer?
All about dat bass. See, I'm cool. I was hip about 4 years ago. Then I lost it.
Okay.
Singer/DJ.
I'm all about that bass. About that bass.
Oh, that's
No
Megan
trouble.
Trainer.
No trouble.
And you're calling that, and you were saying that was cool that you knew that? Is that what you're saying?
It was cool 4 years ago.
Famously, there is a picture of her leaving a sex toy shop.
With
with-
treble. And it was scandalous.
No, with her partner,
Oh.
who is the little boy from Spy Kids. If that means
Oh.
anything to you.
Yeah, I mean, is he still the little boy?
No, he's grown up actually.
Didn't get
to
to
a full
space.
adult man who buys sex toys with Megan Trainer.
Good on him.
Very funny photo.
Well done. Well, I don't, hopefully you're
So
not...
good on you, Amy.
Oh, Amy Trainer, no relation. Actually spelled it quite differently in the end. And anyway, but from Belfast, Amy Trainer. Naomi, what would you call Amy's spaceship? I'll say you off here. The SS.
Hard hat.
Oh, I
Oh.
like it. We still,
That is great.
we still thinking
Hard
about the
hat.
sex shop.
Shaped like a... No!
The SS hard hat.
If you read any sexual tension from that is just you.
I love the naivety of Dave and Sex thinking hard hat. Oh, yeah, you've been... yeah, you need it. You know you got to wear protection.
Oh.
I've heard that you got to wear protection
Oh.
for Sex.
Come here, Bob the Builder.
Overalls,
Oh,
hard
yeah.
hat, steel cap boots. I know what's going on here. Let's get at it. Do go on.
I definitely say that every time. Do go on.
Now, you were saying, Naomi, that it was funny that a photo of her was taken leaving a sex. Are you shaming people's...
I think the
sort of-
funniest part is that it's the kid from Spy Kids. To be
Yeah, that is comedy.
That is comedy.
You get it.
Because
Comedy
you see him as a
is-
kid in your mind. It really it breaks your brain a little bit when you see him as an adult
Yeah.
with a plastic bag of sex toys.
A plastic bag of sex, like full to the brim.
No.
Overflowing.
No, just like 2 or 3 products.
Like someone who's bought too many. He looks in over his head. I don't even know how half of them work.
I'll have one of each.
Surely one of these will work.
Oh my God, I need something. I'm struggling.
The tension's been building up for months. We're both about to explode. We need a release.
Looking for the release valve. Oh, yeah, it's in the second aisle over the back there. Thanks to Amy Trainer from Belfast. I would also like to thank from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Hey.
Ayo.
Like that stuff.
Hey-oh.
From Oklahoma, I would like to thank Megan, or probably Megan, as she would say, Megan Lynn.
Megan Lynn. They
Megan
don't say
Lynn.
Megan. They
Don't
say
they?
Megan. Is that what you're insinuating there?
What are you talking about? Yeah. Like
I know they say Craig, not
Do
Craig.
they not say Megan in America?
Are you shitting me?
Are you shitting me?
Are you? What? That's why they call
I thought Megan was a
Meghan
different name.
Markle.
What about Megan Fox?
Yeah. What about Megan Fox?
What about Megan Fox?
Do they call
Yeah,
it
you're right.
Megan Fox?
Unrelated.
Yeah. She's
Do they call her Megan Fox?
Yeah, and Megan Trainer is also Megan Trainer.
Sometimes they say Megan.
Yeah.
Megan.
Hey, I'm not here to tell you that you're right or wrong, Megan/Megan.
It's just like how they say
/
Craig.
Megan Lynn. I'm just trying to cover all bases here.
Okay.
I think that she probably would say, let us know. Are you a Megan or are you a Megan?
Let us know.
But what I would like to tell you is that your ship is called the Frontier Fiasco.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, a fiasco is not something you
It's
don't want to
pretty
have.
negative.
Whilst you, but
It is doomed.
what it was just cobbled,
Sorry, Megan.
cobbled together from other spaceship rejects, but then it ends up being quite a good spaceship. A la, this isn't true of it, but the Millennium Falcon. You know how sometimes
That's
it
so
doesn't
nice.
work, but then when it needs to, it does.
Built from the blood of others.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that a line from Star Wars?
No, I just said it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sounded like it could have been a Lucasism.
Thank you to Megan Lynn.
Triple M.
That is her full name, actually.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Naomi, I don't know how you feel about reading people's names out, but you can do that if you would like.
Okay. Can I have a look at them? Or
No, guess them.
Open up the list, Dave.
There you get two.
Blow some dust off that, Naomi.
Ah.
The waiting time for people who are waiting for their names to be read out is about 12 months.
From Stockton, in New South Wales.
Stockton, named after John Stockton, the Utah Jazz guard from the 90s.
This is long enough.
Thank you.
Yes. Jess isn't here to be like, well, that's what Jess would normally be saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This
I have to go
episode's
catch
going
a
to be
plane.
long because
I have to be on Triple J. That's my impression of Jess. Is that good?
I accidentally closed my eyes during that and forgot.
Dave's either trying to imagine that I'm Jess or he's just fallen asleep.
I mean, just take us home now.
Tegan Ducey.
Ooh.
Sorry, that's
Tegan.
Tegan.
What a doozy.
What are the odds of that? A Megan and a Tegan.
A Megan and Tegan.
Yeah,
A Megan
it's
and
crazy.
What about Tegan?
And only
Tegan.
hundreds of thousands
Tegan
of miles
too.
apart.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So where's Tegan from?
That's the distance that I imagine is between America and Australia.
And,
oh, we're back home.
and this is Stockton.
Yes,
Stockton.
it sure is.
John Stockton. Beautiful tribute.
I'm thinking of Hoedown. Something. The Hoedown Eclipse.
The Hoedown Eclipse.
That sounds like a good spaceship name.
Really?
I'd
I'd trust that.
Hoedown Eclipse.
I'd
Hoedown
party at the
Eclipse.
Hoedown
Is
Eclipse.
this because you heard the word Oklahoma before?
I think I just sort of stopped it and I was like,
Oklahoma, where
I was
the
thinking-
wind down, down, down,
Is that a Hoedown? is it a Hoedown?
What?
Is that a Hoedown?
The
Just-
musical Oklahoma.
Just Stockton made me think of.
Were you singing the theme song to Gilligan's Island?
No, that's Oklahoma from the musical Oklahoma. Once starring
Wait, no, it
Australia's Hugh Jackman.
it was the theme song to Green Acres.
Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind are bladed and the rain. That's a thing. I swear to God, that's a real thing.
I think the
Are
first
you telling
time
me
you
I'm
were
making that
singing
up?
Green Acres.
Green Acres is the place to be.
There you go.
Matt, do you remember when?
Farm living is the life for me.
Do you remember when Naomi said this is long enough?
Matt,
far and wide.
Something really magical about Matt mid-song when
Side.
he's trying to think of the next lyric, but he stays in the moment.
He's got to be in
and
the
he
moment.
stays in the pose.
Yeah.
So that was the
The Hoedown Eclipse.
Hoedown Eclipse. That's beautiful.
Oh, down Eclipse is the place
And
to
next
be.
person I'd
Yeah,
like
thank you.
to thank.
Please, finally.
Thank you,
Put us
Tegan
out of our
Ducey.
misery.
From Clovis, California.
Beautiful name, Clovis.
Ooh.
Clovis. That's real.
Clovis is
Clovis.
So good. That's on my new list. That's up there now. Clovis, what state?
California.
Clovis,
Knows
California.
how to party.
That's got to be
Oh
one.
my God, Clovis, California.
Oh, please.
That's the full version.
Please don't let
Knows
them sing
how to
anymore.
party.
All right, finally.
Clovis, California.
Who's from Clovis?
In the city
Of Clovis, California.
And what is that? The second biggest city in the entire United States?
Yeah.
Clovis.
Yes.
Clovis.
Yeah, second biggest population. You'd be obsessed with it.
Who's
Sounds
from-
like a dog name. Is there a famous dog called Clovis?
You're thinking of Clover.
Okay.
And no.
And plants.
Yeah. Have you heard of plants?
Yeah.
I hope this never ends.
Who's from Clovis?
You're so tired.
I know, I'm so tired. I have to export this crap.
What is the time?
How
11:37
dare
p.m.
you?
Ian Goodlock.
Ian
Oh,
Goodlock.
Ian. Yeah.
Ian
Goodlock. Goodlock.
In America, they actually
Iron.
do pronounce Ian Iron, don't they? Iron Ziering.
Do they really?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
They do not.
The actor
Stop it.
Iron Ziering from Beverly Hills 90210 pronounced it Iron. I think Iron Ziering.
His whole life, he had to say, actually, it's iron. Oh, God.
That seems like a choice at that point. Well, Ian or Iron is aboard the Square Bitch 11.
Oh,
Square bitch 11?
that's nice.
I like it. Is it actually a square bitch?
Rhombus.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
rhombus.
God.
Yeah.
Clovis rhombus.
From one side, but the other side it looks like a square.
And does it take off from Clovis?
No, because that would be insane.
Clovis
If
doesn't
a
have
spaceship took off from Clovis.
Okay.
I don't want to insult Clovis too much. That's just a very funny way to arrange letters.
Clovis.
Yeah.
California.
It sounds
Thank
like
you.
a fake word someone made up to like mimic the English language.
I'm so keen to get to Clovis.
You're going to add that to your
It's a
golden
city
mile?
in Fresno country and county. Oh, I wonder if they're represented by the Fresno Tacos baseball team.
Fresno Tacos.
Yeah.
Is that their mascot?
Yeah.
Tacos.
Yeah. How good's that?
I love that.
I love it too.
It's real.
Yeah, it's so real. And it's making me hungry.
Dave, how you
Dave,
feel?
you want to boot this baby home?
Just looking at famous people born in Clovis, California. I don't recognize any of them, sadly. But I can tell you famous person
Brutal.
born in Vermont. John Deere, who we mentioned earlier in the
Wow.
episode. Born
the
in
tractor man.
Vermont.
What are the odds of that?
I know.
He's probably had a creamy or two.
Wait,
Oh.
how long ago does it feel like we were talking about Vermont? Is this the longest end of episode we've ever
It
done?
totally is.
Sorry, everyone.
We got to say thanks to everyone that supports the show on Patreon. Thanks to all the people we shouted out to. And if you want to join their ranks, you want to join their beautiful country, go to dogoonpod.com and hit the Patreon link.
Come down to Clovis. The water's warm.
Oh, the water's warm in Clovis. And you can get in contact at any time. All the links to all that stuff is at dogoonpod.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. We've got an email,
You're on
dogoonpod.
YouTube now.
Yeah, check us out
We're tubers.
in 3D.
How many subscribers do you have?
Not enough. Get on there, people.
Yeah.
God.
You know, we need to grow the pie. Does
Yeah.
that mean anything in this context?
Yeah, you guys need more listeners.
Ah, I see.
Famously.
Yep.
Grow
Thank
the
you.
pie?
Yeah.
You need another slice of the pie.
Yeah. I want another slice.
You got a lot
Let's
of pie.
go to New York. Get a slice. Oh, I'm
Spot
delirious. I
on.
was going to say we're delirious. That might just be me.
But thank you so much for listening to the show this far. We really do appreciate that. We're back. We'll be back next week with another episode. But before we go, what?
You gonna plug my shit?
Yeah, we're doing that right now.
Oh, great.
This is the bit where we plug your shit.
Okay.
Naomi's been hanging out with us for the last 2+ hours, and we appreciate your time.
I've been in this building for about 12 hours now.
Really? Well,
We
won't-
insisted Naomi do quite a lot of prep.
we won't let you leave until we tell the great people that you have a fantastic podcast called Batch Bitch, which
It's
is
true.
also on the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Yes. It is.
We're pod buddies.
We're
Yeah.
pod friends.
Absolutely.
Pod family. It's about The Bachelor Australia.
And we've obviously invited you 3 times onto our podcast. And
We've
sitting
never
here-
had a guest.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Probably
getting
if we had one, it would initially be someone who's watched The Bachelor.
at. Okay. Well.
Okay. Well, I'm waiting. I've watched an episode.
oh.
Well, The Bachelor, it's actually a very good time to log on because in a couple of weeks the new Bachelor starts. So it'll be
And
a
it's
fun time.
Aussie Bachelor?
Yes. And
So is it a man dating
Don't-
women this time or a woman
Yes.
dating men? I was...
no, that's The Bachelorette.
Oh, sorry. Okay, confused. And has it been announced who the man is? Is it a celebrity this time?
No. So the last Bachelor who didn't pick anyone in the end, and everyone was very mad at him, was a rugby player, Honey Badger,
the
Nick
Honey
Cummins.
Badger.
And he couldn't make conversation with any of the women.
Because he only speaks in weird euphemisms, right?
Yeah, he talks in
Oh.
Australianisms.
I'm as nervous as a badger and... Oh, I've said badger because that's his name. God damn it.
No, he's probably said something
He
like that.
would've, yeah.
Anyway, so they've gone in the opposite direction now. They've got an astrophysicist, which you would love, Dave.
Oh, I love astrophysics.
Yeah. Oh, your
Actually, I have
eyes
se-
lit up.
I have seen a little teaser of that. Someone he introduces himself as an astrophysicist, and one of them says, "Oh, that's great. I'm a Gemini."
Yeah, which we did predict on our
Oh,
podcast.
that's
Really?
We said
Really?
one of them is definitely going to just like say their star sign in response to that. And wow, look at it. So if you want hot predictions and hot goss, and also a majority of our listeners, I would say, do not watch The Bachelor. So do not think that is
Oh, so that's not a prerequisite.
Not at all.
Right.
But anyway, good time to log on. And then I also do Gamey Game every week, which is a YouTube show also in this same building that I think I live in now.
Yeah, that's right.
It's about gaming. But again, you do not need to know anything about gaming to watch it, because I certainly don't.
Yes. And that we'll have links to both those things in the show notes.
Yeah, there's a fun episode of Gamey Game actually where you just pop in, Dave,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're looking for some cables. A lot of people say it's their favorite episode.
Because of the cable,
Because of you. You just like step in and become part of the
I
show.
felt incredibly rude.
It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, I found the cable, so
Yeah.
That's
And it
good.
meant we could record a live podcast or something, wasn't it? Why you
yeah,
had
we
to go?
needed them. We needed them real bad.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, thanks for letting me plug my things.
Hey, thanks for coming on, giving us your time, and being a very funny human.
If you say so. But
We appreciate that a lot.
thanks for having me. What a joy.
If I could sum this up,
I hope Jess gets sick many more times.
well, if I could sum this episode up in one gif, it would be a certain disgraced pop singer eating popcorn at a cinema. What a great time.
Great job. Yeah.
So, get in contact with us, get in contact with Naomi, and let's all wish Jess the best by reinvigorating the old hashtag pray for
Pray
Bob.
for Bob.
Yeah.
Bring it back. She needs it. She needs it this week. Hopefully she'll be back next week, but if not, Naomi, you live here now. So we'll see you next week. And until next week, I'll say thank you and goodbye.
Laters.
Bye.
That's what Jess says.
Really?
I think she says bye, doesn't she?
It's bye.
Oh.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.